Welcome to Comics Versus Does the DCUniverse by the Lorehounds, your guides to DC's pocket dimensions. I'm Elysia, the girl who's hiding more in her selfies than you might expect.
And I'm Jean, the guy punk enough to hope for a bold new DCU after watching the new Superman, which we are here to break down for you today.
So we're going to start with our usual spoiler-free hot takes, except for this part, we will be talking about, we're going to spoil the text that appears at the very beginning of the movie, just because that's the premise of the movie, and it's hard to talk about the movie without it. And also there's an opening scene that's been widely distributed online for weeks now. That's the first scene. So we'll mention both those things. But other than that, we will keep all spoilers in the bag until after a spoiler break. And of course, we're putting spoilers for all DC movies, TV, comics, all on the table. We might discuss any of that, telling you how it all ties together. So to set up that opening text, I didn't write it out word for word, but just to paraphrase, to paraphrase, basically, you'll see the whole thing when you go to the movie if you haven't yet, but it says 300 years ago, the first metahumans appeared on Earth. 30 years ago, Superman arrived on Earth. 3 years ago, he revealed himself. 3 weeks ago, he stopped one country from invading another. 3 hours ago, he was attacked in Metropolis by a new metahuman called the Hammer of Barovia. 3 minutes ago, Superman lost a battle for the very first time. So, and then this is immediately followed by that scene that's been going around of Superman being defeated in the snow and calling for Krypto's help. So with that as the only spoiler, we won't talk beyond that, but just in general, Jean, what did you think about the movie overall, this setup, where it went from there?
I was shocked that they led off the movie with this scene because I was certain in my mind that this happened at some time later in the movie.
Right.
So to just start off the movie with that scene, Superman being humbled in that way and bleeding and unable to breathe, just was a really great tone setter, as well as the text that said that metahumans have been known on Earth for the last 300 years. I think this is a big, big deal for the future of the DCU, and the reason why we're not going to get many, if any, origin stories, right? Because Gunn, apparently, they're jumping right into the superhuman stuff, the comic book stuff, the superhero, supervillain stuff, because they are looking at the world that they're building, that they're creating, that knows about all of this stuff. And they're assuming that the audience who's been privileged enough to have these comic book movies for the last 3 decades really knows comic book movies, right? Like, we know what to expect. Like, these are not new concepts, and we're not thinking, oh my gosh, how fantastical, this is improbable, this can't happen. The audience is primed for a universe where we expect these things to exist. And I was so blown away that they actually put that out there in that way. No surprises.
Question. So some people have complained that, every generation needs their new onboarding. You are the father of an, is he still 8?
Yeah, he's going to be 9. He will be 9 in a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Do you think that he needs a new introduction to the story, or do you say, oh, I'll just show him this film or animated series or whatever?
No, he doesn't need a onboarding. Maybe it's because the product of being around me,
right,
and constantly exposed to these concepts and these characters and these themes. But he can go into the theater, fully versed and not needing to understand how is this possible, right? There may be things that he'll ask questions about, and I'll try to answer them to the best that I can. But overall, the introduction to characters, I don't think he will be needing that. I really don't. He's playing the games, reading comics. He's exposed to this culture of fantastical superheroes, um,
Mhm.
this world that exists, and he may not know all the characters, but the questions of how characters, why they exist, I don't think he'll ask that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's a fair point to make, the fact that just the story of Superman is so pervasive throughout society. That's why it just because it's what do you say, parodied so many
Yes,
times, and
yes.
it's just referenced constantly, that there is a sort of expectation that you just absorb it as part of growing up.
Like I got asked a question by E the other day and he said, "Is Hyperion a Superman of the Marvel
Hmm.
universe?" Right?
Mhm.
Hyperion is a super is the Superman is a Superman of the Marvel
Right,
universe,
right.
definitely.
Along with Sentry, yeah.
Right, and I said, "Yeah, you're right."
Yeah.
So these are concepts and things that they're out there. And if kids are engaging with the content, then for the most part, I don't think they need a primer. They don't need a movie to tell you that Kal-El was sent on a rocket ship to,
Mhm.
Earth, yada, yada, yada. They
Mhm.
don't need a movie to know that Bruce Wayne lost his parents in an alley, right?
Right.
They know these sorts of things because these sorts of things have been floating around in popular culture heavily for 30, 35, 40 years.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
ingrained in our popular culture now.
Right, right, right. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that for me, you are going in a much bigger Superman fan than I am.
Yes.
Not that, like, I'm not anti at all. It's just, we all have our favorites, and Superman's one of yours, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you and your son have the ongoing arguments over whether the Avengers can take Superman down.
Oh, he's figuring out ways to take Superman down. He's like, I don't know if this is a Lex Luthor thing happening. I don't know if there's a supervillain lurking. I don't know
He's a
what's
Marvel
happening, but
kid after my
he's a
own heart.
Marvel kid. He's a Marvel kid.
Yeah.
Like,
But so Superman for me, I always like Lois Lane, though. I identify with her because she feels like a stand-in for me, in this world, because of my background in journalism,
mhm.
and little random details like the fact that she struggles to remember how many L's and R's are in a word too. um, but yeah, this for me was, I think, my favorite new Superman take,
Mm,
because I think it combined well. It felt like, I've been especially catching up on a lot of Superman, or, revisiting the old movies, watching finally some Smallville,
okay.
and some Justice League, and caught up on the latest season of My Adventures of Superman,
Okay.
and I see all of those in this, pieces of all of
Absolutely.
that. I see pieces of the Snyderverse in this. Um, I think that this is a meta Superman in a way, but in a way that feels focused for our era right now.
I agree. I think I told one of my homies this morning, like, watching the movie made me forget about Cavill.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone knows anything, Cavill's my guy. That's my Superman,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's
Mm-hmm.
my
Mm-hmm.
guy. But watching the movie made me forget about Cavill. At no point did I never compared the two, got
Mm-mm.
I never felt like, oh, Cavill would have done this so much better.
Mm-mm.
I never felt that.
Mm-hmm. I liked Cavill as a casting. I didn't like the material that he was given
Hmm.
personally. I know you feel differently.
Yeah,
Um,
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, nothing ever wrong with that casting. Nothing. I actually can't think of a bad Superman casting off of the top of my head. I'm sure somebody's
Dean
screaming
Cain.
something at me. Well, I dislike him for different reasons now, but at the time in the '90s, I
I
loved
didn't.
Dean Cain.
I hated Dean Cain. I didn't like
In the
that.
'90s?
I didn't like the show at all.
Oh, okay. I was into the
Yeah,
show.
no, I didn't like the show.
But I understand why it's not. Yeah, it's not as great as the other shows that are
Yeah, I didn't
similar,
like the show
cover the
in the
similar.
moment. You know what I mean?
I know, I
Not
know, I know. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And for me, it's like, well, it hasn't aged so well, has it? But yeah, but I just think that still David Cornsweet is somehow the embodies it the most. And I think they've also been doing smart things with the marketing, where they show him with kids, and how he
Right.
interacts well with kids and
Right.
how and sometimes I even wonder if they're kind of like playing a little bit where there's there's him and Rachel Brosnahan, also extremely perfect casting, somehow even more like the most perfect Lois Lane that I've ever seen. Um, and they had them like on, I forget, one of the like Variety or something, one of those short videos, playing a game where they're supposed to ask each other cheesy pickup lines, and they were given
Hmm.
a list of
Hmm.
cheesy pickup lines, and he keeps misunderstanding the game in the most Clark Kent kind of wholesome way.
Right.
And I'm like, I
Right.
don't know if this is put on or not, but it's perfect. Like, they just really nailed it. And maybe this is a good time to say we got a mail from Ken W, who said, and this was sent quite a while ago, said,
Okay.
this was sent before the film released. Hope you don't mind the email. On nights I need to get this off my chest. Superman has always been my favorite, but is Gunn oversaturating us with promotions?
Mm.
Did you feel the film was over promoted?
Well, I stopped watching the anything that
Mm-hmm.
came out like a month before the film. Right. I think I even told you I'm not watching any,
Mm-hmm.
any TV spots. I didn't watch anything. I didn't feel it was over promoted for me personally. I just felt like I didn't want to see anything. And
Yeah.
so, but I can understand that sentiment definitely because there was a lot of proper, film promotion for this movie, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, no, I think I mean, it feels like there's like two promotion modes these days. It's either oversaturation, which, this is getting like Fantastic Four, it's getting
Yes,
um Jurassic Park, the big ones. And or they just ignore everything else, basically.
it feels like an old school rollout. That's what it felt
Mm.
like to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like we don't do these sorts of things any longer.
Yeah.
You know, we don't get like sidebar, clips rap group that I adore that's just dropped a new album and they did a proper rollout, like old school rollout of an album. You know what I mean? Talking to a lot of different people, letting people hear different songs. And I think that we're getting to a point where we have so truncated our, the space for content. Like it
Mm-hmm.
has to be short, it has to be brief, it has to be
Mm-hmm.
snappy in order to garner attention. And I think this was different in that it was a long rollout.
Mm.
It gave you a lot of sound bites. They gave you a lot of
Right.
interviews. They gave you a lot of visuals to get you hoping that would spur you to see the movie. And I welcome that because I hate being limited in scope and in time for
Mm-hmm.
the things that we all enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I just want to say, as far as Ken W did pop into the Discord to say that he really enjoyed it when he did see it. Old school superhero movie,
Yeah.
look up. So, yeah, but I feel that this was where you could feel they knew everyone was talking about how important this film was for the DCU.
Yeah. Yeah. And they felt and it felt we'll get into it, but this felt like a new direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got the sense that, they're going to do things that wasn't done in the Snyderverse,
Yeah.
right? And do things differently. Like this is a personal movie to
Mm-hmm.
Clark Kent, to Superman, to Kal-El. This is a personal movie. This is not about worldwide destruction, the
It
end
is
of
also
everything
that in a way.
in a little way.
Yeah.
But to me, the threat was more about Kal-El, Superman, Clark Kent than it was about all humanity. in a
Hmm.
way that Darkseid would be a threat to all humanity. You see what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the movie was not that.
I think the threat is also more insidious in a more realistic, like more
Oh yeah, yeah,
grounded,
definitely.
where it's about the decay of humanity rather
Absolutely.
than just being snuffed out.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but yeah, I think that this I like that this movie it's so bright and I call it hope punk. Um, but it's it's a real genre. But it's about it's also has a darkness to it because it's about the humanity of Superman. You know, it's about
Yeah.
how it's saying, and this I find this really interesting because when one of the reasons why Superman isn't per se my favorite character is because sometimes he feels too perfect. But this is about Superman. Nobody's perfect. This is just someone who is super because he's always trying to do the right thing,
Right.
even if
Right.
he might need to take a beat and think more about the complications of a given situation.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's the thing that I've always, struggled with other folks. The idea that, Kal-El, that Superman is perfect. I've never felt that.
hmm,
I've never felt that. I've always felt him, the character, being decidedly, how should I put it? Not vague, but there are times when you feel what I feel that Superman could be doing more.
hmm,
And there is a lack of action
mhm,
on Superman's part, on Kal-El's part, right? So I've never really viewed him as the perfect embodiment because I've always thought that he could be doing a lot more
yeah,
for people all
yeah,
over the world. And I think some of the comics have actually struggled with that question as well. Like, what, and
mhm,
this movie
mhm, it's all
definitely
about that.
is all
Yeah,
about that, right? So I never felt reading Superman that he was a perfect, character.
right. Yeah, well, I think about I just rewatched recently Superman 4 with the much maligned Superman 4.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
it's kind of fun, but it does
So
feature
hokey.
it's so hokey. But it does feature where basically a child asks Superman to, why don't you just end the threat of nuclear war? So Superman gathers up all the nukes and throws them into space. And I feel like James Gunn watched that movie and he's like, okay, I have some notes. Like, did we
Right.
think? And what this is where he tries to do something similar, where he's like, I'll just step in and threaten the bad guy and make the fight stop. And he learns, no, there's consequences to
To
everything
that.
that I do.
Yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
this is about, like the
Yeah.
consequences for everyone's actions throughout the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the humanity. One of my favorite quotes from the film is I get scared. That is being human. That's my greatest strength." And
Yeah.
that's why I call it hope punk because that's where it's just about having the bravery to admit your flaws, having the bravery to be yourself and do your best when things get
Right.
tough. Keep
Right. And I
trying.
think I think that is what Superman has embodied, like that trying to be your best self, right?
Mhm.
Like, so that was really that scene, that entire scene was a powerful
Mhm.
scene for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and also, I mean, it was written a couple years ago, but some of it did feel very on the nose for real world conflict today. And we're saying that a lot lately. And I think some of it's intentional and some of it's not intentional.
Hmm.
Um,
I don't know. I watched the movie and I really didn't. I understand the connections that folks made, but in watching the movie, I wasn't making those connections,
okay.
to be honest.
Yeah, no, so it felt very, very on the nose. I
Yeah.
mean, not in a bad way, not in a bad
No,
way.
no, no,
Just yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Yeah, and also I just loved like I know a lot of people were worried when they were announcing all the characters who would feature in this, and people were like, oh, that's gonna feel overstuffed. I did not find that it felt overstuffed, and I really got invested in the characters. Like we got introduced to the personalities of the B characters rather than their origin
Yes.
stories. But I think that's okay. And now I'm intrigued. I'm like, tell me more about Mr. Terrific and Metamorpho and Hawk Girl and Guy Gardner. And yeah,
Just
we
great.
will.
They were fully fleshed out to me without the
Mm-hmm.
origin stories. Like I know who these people are. you know,
Yeah.
I felt I knew who they were. So it's just like, I mean, Mr. Terrific, man. We'll talk about
Mm-hmm.
that.
Well, I am curious. What was your feelings about these characters? Like, how familiar were you with this set of characters going in, and any favorites?
Oh yeah. No. I know all of them. Mr. Terrific is my favorite out of the bunch. I mean,
Okay.
from the comic books, period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, familiar with all of the characters, but I've always had a soft spot for Terrific. Like
Yeah.
he actually is one of my favorite comic book characters.
Okay. I mean, I didn't. I'll be honest. I knew Guy Gardner is a Green Lantern, and
Yes.
Hawk Girl. Those I knew those two. I did not know before this Mister Terrific or Metamorpho.
Oh wow.
As I
Okay.
said before,
Okay.
I know more Marvel than DC characters, um, and so I really, especially yeah, well, I mean, I guess those are two of my favorites, but it's also I have to say Metamorphose, played by Anthony Carrigan, who I just love since Barry, where he played NoHo
Right.
Hank. I was gonna love him no matter what. But Mr. Terrific, I feel like in a lot of ways he stole the movie.
I absolutely feel that he did.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And I couldn't have been more happier than that. Like, give me a terrific movie or TV show,
Hmm.
please.
Apparently, there's one in discussion. Perhaps
Oh
they're
wow. Okay.
weighing.
I didn't
Yeah,
hear about that. That's awesome.
and there's rumors of two new TV shows in discussion for Terrific, and the other for Jimmy Olsen, who actually gets his own plotlight.
I could get behind that too.
Yeah,
I can get Jimmy was great. I love
yeah.
Jimmy.
This is now my second favorite Jimmy Olsen after My Adventures as Superman.
Adventures with Superman.
I like that animated series. Okay. But no, that's a really fleshed out Jimmy Olsen. And this one, we only got a couple hours, but he was fun. Definitely show me more. What'd you think of Crypto?
Great. Just awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
I love the dynamic of the dog just being a dog.
yeah. Very,
Yeah,
very
just
good
being a
bad
dog.
dog.
Yeah, it's just really
You're
great.
such a good bad dog.
And also, well, we'll talk about it, but I just love the
Mm-hmm.
dynamic of Superman and Crypto. I thought that was really
Yeah,
well done.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think first film in the DCU. I guess you and I would both say it's a success.
Yes.
This is heralding an interesting new era. I think it's a second official project. We already talked about Creature Commandos in a prior episode. If anyone hasn't heard that yet, and this first phase is called Chapter One: Gods and Monsters. So we've gotten Creature Commandos for the monster side, and now we're getting the side of the gods. Um, and also in the new DCEU, kind of, is the Suicide Squad movie James Gunn did, Blue Beetle, and Peacemaker season one, which I think it sounds like and it looks like from the trailer, we're going to find out more about how the DCEU universe connects with the DCU when that comes in August, which we're going to be covering.
Yes, we are. Yay.
Yay. So I know when it comes to writer director James Gunn, I'm a much bigger fan than you are,
Yes.
but I think he won
I
you over
mean,
recently.
you know, I'm humble enough to say I was not familiar with Mr. Gunn's comic book awareness, just based off the Guardians movie and Suicide Squad. But I have to say, I have to respect the hustle. I mean, he did the thing. And it's like at every turn, from Creature Commandos to the interviews, there was always something gnawing at me saying, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. I sat in the movie, and after it was done, I'm like, this guy. You know,
Mhm.
like he really did the thing. He really did the thing. And I have to say that I am pleasantly and excitedly waiting the rest of the DCU
Yeah.
because this first in this I'm not counting Creature Commandos. I'm sorry. I'm not counting that. This is the proper introduction to the DC universe for me. And
Yeah.
I just think that he did a really excellent job of setting the table
Mhm.
and letting folks know what is coming. And not it wasn't done in an overtly, here, look at this way, but
Mhm.
it just sets it's a tone setter and I'm
Mhm.
here for it.
Mm. Yeah, I liked Creature Commandos a lot
I
more than
know.
you,
I know.
although I'm upset about how one particular character was
Was
handled. We
done.
talked
Yes.
about that, yeah. But I like that this is a very different feeling from that, you know? That this
Yeah,
is a
definitely.
different, a much lighter and purer, and I like the idea, looking at these projects that are coming up, from Lanterns to Clayface to hopefully Swamp Thing and the Authority and all this stuff. I'm looking for, and Supergirl, of course. I'm looking forward to a range of different like having
Feels.
different genres
Yeah.
within
Yeah.
the DC.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so we debated whether or not to bring this up, but I just thought, like, let's you said, let's mention it quickly, and we don't want to give people too much airspace, and let's just make sure that we are directly quoting James Gunn on
Yes,
this.
yes.
But he said something that some people are upset about, and here's exactly what he said. He said Superman is the story of America, and he said an immigrant, he said he called him an immigrant that came from other places and populated the country, but for me it's mostly a story that says basic human kindness is a value and is something we have lost.
Yeah, I agree with them. And for the people who wrote things that were, inflammatory and trying to degrade the film, after watching the film, I can say they didn't watch the film.
Hmm.
They didn't watch the film
Well, I mean,
because
it's if Superman's not about kindness, what are we doing here?
right, right, right. But that's not the part that they took. They
The
ran with the
immigrant.
immigrant part,
Well,
right?
is he? Yes.
Of course, but the film is not about
He's an
immigration.
he's an illegal alien. Yeah, the film's
Right.
not about immigration. No, it is about getting involved in international affairs, and
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
But it's
but
not
it's not
about
his.
immigration.
No,
And the
well,
people who spoke about it,
it is about being an immigrant, and the fact that he is painted as an outsider, and
but there, we'll talk about
mhm,
it.
mhm,
We'll
mhm,
talk about it. But for just as for me, as a on a broader stroke, like those folks did not watch this movie.
mm,
It's outrage that is, meant to garner clicks and approval from a certain segment.
mm.
And yeah, I don't fuck with that segment. So yeah, we don't fuck with that segment. So it's all good.
Mhm. All right, moving on. What do you think
Yeah.
about the new suit?
I was cool with it. I was cool with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. I there are so many variations of costumes in comic books. It, different artists draw people differently for different times, and I'm cool with it. I never
Yeah.
had an issue with the trunks or non-trunks or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that they made them they modernized it by making them more boxer
yeah,
free
not
rather
like
than yeah.
like
Rather
more
than
it's
undies. Yeah.
right.
Um yeah, I think, and apparently that the idea of having Superman dressed that way was to make him look more approachable for children's, and that's
Yeah,
what James Gunn cited as the reason for that. So yeah, I'm on board. I
yeah.
thought
I
it looked
wasn't.
great.
I
I thought
thought,
it looked great.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and overall, I have to say the overall look was great, and that's especially thanks to cinematographer Henry Bram, who often works with James Gunn on like Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad. Um, there's one I saw side by side shots of Adam from Guardians of the Galaxy 3 flying, and Superman flying, and they made one key difference, which is they animated Superman's hair so it was blowing in the
Oh
wind,
wow,
and it
okay.
makes all the difference. It feels
Right.
the flight really worked for me. What about you?
Nah, I just there's nothing for me to complain about,
Yeah,
quite
it
honestly.
it felt so like visceral, like you're in it, you're swept up in
Yeah.
the wind with him. Hmm. Yeah, I thought that I liked the music. The composer was John Murphy, with also some songs by David Fleming. And John Murphy, we were just talking about because John Murphy did the scores for the first two, the original two 28 movies, 28 Days and 28 Weeks Later.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'll say one complaint,
Mm-hmm.
and this is not just for Superman, but this is just for comic book movies as a whole. We need more rap music into
Okay.
these scores
Yeah.
because, quite honestly, that's the music of now, hip
Mm-hmm.
hop. So we need to get on board with seeding this music, these soundtracks with some more rap. Um, yeah, and that's my hot take
No,
for for
that's
everything.
fair. I mean, we've talked about this before too, but James Gunn and I have the same music taste, so I'm
Yeah,
always going to be happier with his
and the
soundtracks.
music was good.
Yeah, yeah.
The
No, but
music
I
was good,
understand. Mm-hmm.
but let's be real. Let's get some rap. Let's get some hip hop
Mm-hmm.
on these soundtracks.
Mm. Yeah, and then actually, James Gunn has a punk musician past, and so
Right.
he made references to it in there, like when Superman is talking about these fake bands,
Yeah.
like the Mighty Crab Joys. Also, he said the PODs, and James Gunn has an old band called the Pods.
Oh
So
wow, I didn't know that. Okay.
yeah. I have to say the song that plays, I guess, over the credits, Punk Rocker by Teddy Bears featuring Iggy
Iggy
Pop.
Pop. Yeah.
Um, I've added that to my favorites list. I've been listening to that one.
That's awesome.
But I like the discussion of punk in there. I talked about the hope punk. It's the opposite of grim dark. Basically, it's about characters fighting for positive change and radical kindness, and working together to overcome challenges. And the discussion here is, Lois says, "You think everyone you meet is beautiful," and he says, "Maybe that's the real punk rock," because basically she's like, "You're not as punk as me, punk."
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, I liked all that. Yeah, the message and the way the music played into that message. Hmm. Have you ever been to Cleveland, Ohio?
Um my better half is from the Cleveland areas,
Oh,
and I
okay.
will
I think you
say
told me that.
that
Yeah.
I have never been.
Okay. Uh-uh.
We'll just leave it there.
Yeah, I've never been there. I mean, I've been to Ohio. My father used to live in Ohio for a while, but
Okay. Wow. Okay.
I've never been to Cleveland, but apparently that is where they did most of the filming for this. And there was apparently Cleveland did inspire some of the look of the original Metropolis in the comic. So it's yeah, it makes sense that they go back there. Although Metropolis is set in the DCU in Delaware, it's been explicitly stated. So Metropolis is in Delaware on one side of the bay, and it's called the Big Apricot. Get it? And Gotham is in South Jersey on the other side of the same bay, so that they're across the water from each other. And there is no New York City in
No.
this
No.
DCU. Yeah. So I liked I know that we heard from people from Cleveland who were saying that the city's really celebrating it, like they were lighting up the skyline to celebrate Superman and stuff. So I like to see it. What did you think about the length? It was 129 minutes long, so just over 2 hours.
It didn't feel that way to me at all.
No,
You
I
know.
didn't look at my watch at all.
Yeah. Not once. Yeah. Yeah.
What was your theater experience?
Um. It wasn't filled because I went early.
Mm-hmm.
In the day. And there weren't as much kids as I thought there would be
Mm-hmm.
for that time of day. Seeing that it is summer,
Mm-hmm.
but the jokes landed when they were supposed to,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I don't think I think most people were really. It didn't seem like anyone was upset. Like
Mhm.
just watching, I was waiting for the end credits to flow, and you watch people who don't wait and they're
Yeah.
filing out or whatever.
I get stressed when people do that. Yeah.
I was in the back, so I'm just watching folks, and their expressions were all smiles.
Mhm.
They were all smiles, talking amongst each other and things of that nature. So yeah.
Yeah. I was going to go opening night here, but then I ended up having an animal emergency, so I went the next afternoon instead. And I forgot that it was summer break, so I was surprised that there were a bunch of teenagers there.
Oh wow. Okay.
Um, and they responded quite well. They applauded and cheered at the end of the movie.
Wow, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
So I thought that's a good sign. That's a good sign. It's doing rather well. The budget was 225 million is the reported budget. You know, they always say it needs to really make 500 to cover marketing costs and all that. The box office as of Sunday morning, July 13th, of opening weekend was 123 million. So yeah, it's probably going to close the weekend around 130 million, something like that, which is above the expectations, which were 90 million. So this makes it the second biggest opening weekend for Warner Brothers this year after Minecraft. And it's the best standalone Superman movie opening, et cetera, et cetera. So it's on track for a good showing, I would say, and it's got good reviews. It's the cinema score is A minus. The Rotten Tomatoes critic scores 82% were positive, 93% of general public. On Metacritic, it's 68% of critics liked it, 7.3 average score from the public, and on Letterboxd, the average score is 4.0, which is quite high. I say
Right.
for the highest of this year, I think, is Sinners with a 4.2. Yeah, so it's getting good reviews, you know. What would you say is the Bakila rating? How
Ooh.
young would you take, like, what would you say is the age someone needs to be to see this movie?
I mean, E and my nephew, they're 8 and 9, soon to be
Mhm.
9,
Mhm.
and I think it's fine for them. I mean, there's one
Mhm.
particular scene that might be hard to handle, maybe two actually, that might be a little hard to handle, but
Mhm.
overall, I think 8 is fine for
Yeah,
me.
okay.
Yeah.
And what would you say about it's the Bakila rating?
Oh wow, maybe 2.5 to 3.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, because there
I
are
mean,
two
I guess
scenes that are overtly like, oh shit,
yeah, that's true, that's true. That's true.
and
They really go villainous, for
yeah,
one particular character. Yeah.
yeah. So, and that's the only
Mm.
reason that I put it that high. Like the
Yeah.
fight scenes are brutal though.
Yeah.
They are brutal fight scenes, but yeah, those two scenes that I'm thinking of, we'll get to them.
Mhm.
Could be a little,
Okay.
could be a little old. Oh no.
Any, uh any last thoughts that you wanna tell people who are considering whether to see it yet and haven't?
Oh yeah, go see the movie because it's a lot of fun. Um, and it's just a really cool ass film. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I think you'll enjoy it. I really
Yeah.
do. I think you'll enjoy the story. You'll enjoy the characters, and it will leave you wanting more of them.
Mhm.
So that's a reason to see something that leaves you wanting more.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it feels like a complete story, it's not like at the end you're like, "Oh, no, what happens next?"
Right, right,
It doesn't really have a cliffhanger like that or anything, but it introduced a bunch of characters and a world, a very detailed world.
very
Um
detailed.
It just it's incredible, the world building that's packed into just words on the sides of buildings and things like that. So, and it feels like they're gonna build a really rich universe for us to play in.
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
definitely go see it and enjoy it.
yeah. Yeah, it's also if you're not like, "Oh god, I don't wanna start a new interconnected universe," it stands on its
It
own
stands
just
alone.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and it's worth seeing in a theater for the visuals.
yeah,
Hmm,
definitely.
yeah. Okay. Well, this is a great place to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are ripping off the spoiler band aid and talking about the details of the movie.
All right.
See you in a minute. All right, so let's dig a little deeper into the opening text. It's very Star Wars. Apparently, so they really want me to like David Cornsweet. He he's a big Star Wars fan, and he's like, let's do the text like the original Star Wars. But yeah, so 300 years of metahumans. So that means since about like 1725,
Yeah.
that's when the first ones appeared. Do you want to like fill people in who are like, what does that word mean?
Oh, so metahumans are just like superpowered individuals. They have a meta gene,
Mm-hmm.
which
So they're like
is like a
mutants, basically.
mutant,
Yeah.
right? And from the Marvel universe, but they have a meta gene that can give them fantastical abilities. And so
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Batman is
I'm,
not a metahuman. Let's just be
mm-hmm. He's
so
just a
we're not
guy with some
we're
gadgets.
exactly we're talking like people who
But I
can do
guess,
things like Superman.
but I guess Mr. Terrific's not a meta being either.
He's not. He's
Mm.
not.
He's a guy with better gadgets.
Unless you think, like intelligence is something that is,
Hmm.
a
As a
meta gene.
mutation.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess we've met some in the form of Blue Beetle. We've met. We know that in Creature Commandos, they said that Themyscira exists, but
Right.
I would think like, oh, Themyscira came out of the myths, and that's why they figured out metahumans are there. But they made it in Creature Commandos. They made it sound like that was something that
Oh,
happened rather
recent.
recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but we know that there's been like Frankenstein and the Bride wandering around for centuries, but there are DC characters that are older than that. And there's in the film, in the background in the newsroom, I think it was, there's a mural.
The Hall of Justice.
Where James Gunn says that it's going to show the entire history of meta heroes of these heroes in the DCU. Um, but it also like we haven't seen the whole thing. He says he's going to release separate pictures for people to analyze. But there are heroes on there that come from medieval times, so before 1725. So I'm
Right.
curious.
Yeah, it's going to be super interesting to see how they weave that into the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, we get a glimpse of the Spectre in the Hall of Justice on the mural, like on the ceilings and the walls. They have all
Mm-hmm.
these, like the Sistine Chapel almost, but
Yeah.
instead of angels and God and man, it's, metahumans. So I would love to see a breakdown of that particular,
Mm-hmm.
just to be able to differentiate the different characters that we know of and
Uh-huh.
maybe guess on the characters that we don't know about.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's hard because we don't have the film at home to pause through, but apparently people online are saying that
Yeah,
we haven't been able to see all of it anyway, even those who have like downloaded cam copies and paused through.
exactly.
So James Gunn said he would release the images themselves and then we're going to have a field day with them. But yeah, so 30 years ago, Superman arrived on Earth. That tracks. 3 years ago, he revealed himself. Yes, that's the part of the story that we
Amen.
thought. Yeah. And go back
Uh,
and watch one of the many other stories if you want to know, if you want to see the
hallelujah.
meteor crash
Amen and
land.
hallelujah. How about that?
And so 3 weeks ago stopped an invasion. And this is where it gets interesting because it's like, oh, that's good, right? Like, well, it's
No.
complicated. And 3 minutes ago, he lost for the first time. And this tells us this is why we're jumping into the story at this moment, because this is what makes this moment an interesting point to pick up his story, because this is a moment where he first really has to start facing consequences.
Consequences.
Yes, for better or worse. Mm.
And presumably, this is the first time he's done something on this scale,
Hmm.
right, to elicit those consequences.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but it's also well, we find out, of course, we're past the spoiler mark. We find out that he's fighting the Hammer of Barovia, and it's a clone of him, so it has all the same physical
Right.
capabilities as him, but then is magnified into a giant size. So, like Superman, but much bigger. It's like, well, how are you going to fight yourself?
Like
But
Superman
more.
without the restraints.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. All right, well let's get into these plot details. We're going to talk about one setting or elements of the plot at the time, so it's going to be out of order versus the movie. But let's start with the as the film does, the Fortress of Solitude, which is not very solitudinous in this iteration. He's got a whole family going on, you know. He's got the dog and the bots, and well, we'll talk about who else apparently lives there too. um so they filmed this in Svalbard, Norway, which makes sense. It's like the northernmost place that people can visit, popular tourist destination for that region. But they set it in Antarctica versus the North Pole,
Okay.
and that for me, that makes sense because Antarctica actually has more land.
Right.
And it's buried in ice and it opens with Superman's DNA, which was like, did you know going in that Ultraman was going to be a Superman clone?
I had my suspicions, but I did
Hmm.
not. I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was the same. It seemed like, everyone was talking about like, oh, it's going to be a Superman clone. And then the moment it opened and they're like, well, how did you do that? Like, okay, well, that's confirmed. So I think those like the
But I
worst
didn't
hints.
think it was when I was in the movie before the reveal.
Hmm.
I was thinking that it's a Superman from a alternate universe.
Okay. Rather than a clone.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But it had to have his DNA.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
how I figured out as soon as Lex opened the Fortress of
Right.
Solitude,
Right.
the man in the mask whose face we're not seeing must have the same DNA. Yeah. How brutal was like being healed through the sun sounds like such a wholesome thing. But the sound mixing they did on that with
Yeah,
like
that was
the
great.
crackles and pops, like you
Yeah,
can
that was great.
everything
Like
snapping back
fixing
into
your
place.
muscles
Mm,
and your bones snapping back into place and your tendons rearranging themselves. You could feel all of that. You could hear all
mm-hmm.
of that. That was
Mm.
awesome.
What did you think of the robots?
I loved them. I loved the robots. And I was so pissed. I was so pissed when Lex strode into the and they were just
Yeah,
like, yeah, I was like, no, not number 4.
I
No,
know. He prefers to be called Gary.
not Gary.
I mean, I love Alan Tudyk, so I'm always
Right.
happy when he shows up vocally or in person. He makes a great robot. He's K2SO also for anyone who doesn't know in Andor, but
So yeah, I was really pissed. I was really hurting for them. Hurting for the bots, man.
yeah. And all the bots were, I mean, I wonder if they're going to come back or if this was just like James Gunn calling in favors with all of his friends, but they were
Oh
all
yeah,
voiced by.
maybe.
So number 12 was Grace Chen. That's the newest one. But all the others are James Gunn regulars. We got
Right.
Michael Roker as number one. He's the one who played Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy. Palm Clementif, who was number 5, and that was Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy. Jennifer Holland, James Gunn's own wife, who plays Harcourt in Peacemaker. Um, so yeah, it was a all celebrity cameo voices. And I was so surprised when the parents started
Yeah, so was
talking.
I. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we did not know
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper was going to be in this movie.
Yeah.
So we Bradley Cooper's Jor-El, and it was driving me crazy who was playing Lara Lorvan, but it's Angela Sarafian who played Clementine in
Westworld.
Westworld.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing more of them.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind seeing more of them.
I mean, what if James
They
Gunn
gotta
went
give me
back and
more of
did
them.
an origin story, but did it like different? Just show us, sh- set the entire thing on Krypton and
Right.
have
They
it
gotta
end
give me
with,
more of them. I want
yeah.
more of this Jor-El.
I want an entire origin film on Krypton. And you set up, Kara's story also, Supergirl, and yeah, it's
Because if this Jor-El and Lara are just what we left thinking that they are,
mm-hmm.
that's a big change.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a huge change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we get the message from the parents that he listens to out of comfort, and it's cut off halfway. And so I liked that, Martha Kent, the mother who raised him, she points out to Clark later. She says, what you wanted to be true about that second half of the message, that says more about you than what was actually said, because that's where
Yeah.
your mind went, was a wholesome place.
Yeah.
What did you think of Jonathan and Martha Kent, played by Pruitt Taylor, Vince, and Neva Howell?
I loved them. Yeah. It was so cute.
Yeah, they leaned very Kansas. I thought, especially in the first scene, they put on accents. I have a lot of family in more so Oklahoma, but also Kansas, and I'm like,
Okay.
okay, you're putting on the accent a bit strong. It's clearly not your real accent, and it's not. They did a dialect coach, but
Okay.
I do like about that they show them, like, the first time they're on screen, they want you to see them as just everyday kind of bumpkins,
Yeah.
not like the glamorous Kryptonian parents that he has
Right.
in his
A
videos.
real contrast.
Hmm.
There's a real
But then,
contrast between the
yeah,
sets of parents.
but then at the end, he realizes the parents who raised him are the ones who taught him kindness, and that's who he turns to for comfort, for
Right.
because we see that they are his emotional rock, being raised in a good family. Did you know Crypto was inspired by James Gunn's dog?
I did. I did. And if that's the truth, oh my gosh. What is happening in the Gunn household? Because that dog is out of control. Crypto is out of control. Oh, it was so
Yeah.
cool though. It was so cool to see because in the story, it made sense why he's behaving this way with Kal-El. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Kal-El is not his Kryptonian,
Right.
right? So he's going to act out in ways that Kal-El is not happy about. But
Right.
his own
Yeah.
Kryptonian is cool with it, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, that's what did you say? Like, that's where the behavioral problems come from.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
when Supergirl shows up, she's just like, ha ha ha, ha, yes,
You're
jump
right.
all over
Yeah,
me.
let's do it. Let's break the rocks. Let's do all of this stuff,
Yeah.
right? This is the fun part of life.
Yeah. I thought that the VFX were really good on, it's
Oh
hard to
yeah.
do animals, it's hard
Yeah.
to do furry animals.
Yeah.
They had a stand-in called Jolene, and who apparently David Gordon Sweat said that she trotted out the first time to Jolene,
Oh wow.
Jolene, Jolene.
The Beyonce version or the Dolly Parton version?
Dolly
That's
Parton.
important. That's
Yeah,
important.
Dolly Parton. Uh, and there was a backup stand-in too who got adopted by a member of the crew. Oh,
That's nice.
yeah. What'd you think of the first credit scene? What do you think of the credit scenes in general?
I thought they were cool. You know, that little snippet of them just watching over the earth,
Mm-hmm.
him and Crypto was, I thought that was very Superman, very all-star Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Very Superman-y, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that second one I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
I really thought that was it. Like I love the dynamic between him and Mr. Terrific.
Yeah.
So I hope we get more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and more of that, it doesn't have to be that specific way that they are with each other, but more of that with how other people interact with Superman.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it really gave me the feeling like, oh, they're setting up Mr. Terrific to be a big part of this universe, which I have
Yeah.
thoughts about that. We'll talk about theories about that. But yeah, it was just they were simple credit scenes, and the first one especially, but
Yeah.
but it feels like a payoff, like the same where when he wakes up in Kansas and Crypto's just sleeping on his
Yeah.
belly, like
Yeah.
my cat sleeps on me the same way, just stretched across, like looking like, hi.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you all right?
Are you okay? Yeah. I mean, we know James Gunn is an animal person. He's always putting animals in his films. We got the squirrel moment. We'll talk about more about that. I liked details like when they were evacuating Metropolis,
Mm-hmm.
there were a bunch of people carrying their pets. I'm like, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
Because I'm always thinking, like, if I need to evacuate or the world ends, like, I had to make sure that I had enough cat carriers, even though I only ever use one at a time. If it, if the zombie apocalypse comes, I want to be able to put them in bags and run.
And they did a painstakingly good job of making sure that we understood that Metropolis, or the downtown area that was taking the brunt of the damage, was
Mm-hmm.
evacuated.
Right.
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 So, you know, don't worry, Superman is not here to at any or all costs. We're gonna, and that's also agency of the people, not just
Mm-hmm.
standing around watching, all hell break loose, but like, oh, we got to get out of here, and we
Yeah.
got to get out of here right now.
Yeah.
And no one is standing around waiting for the direction. It's just like, we got to go. Let's go.
Yeah.
So it tracks with 300 years of having exposure to metahumans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people know, oh, it's about to go down.
Yeah.
We let's go. So there's
Is our city getting it this time? Yeah.
right. There's no looking at the sky and being amazed. This is
Mm-hmm.
part of life.
Mm. Yeah, and it also was an interesting contrast with between Superman and Lex Luthor, in the fact that Lex Luthor, Superman's making sure everyone else is getting out. Lex Luthor is just
Even the
like,
squirrels.
even the squirrels. And Lex Luthor's like, well, I'll just sit here until I have to go. And then it's, I did think it was cool that his sort of HQ was a bridge between two
Yeah, that was
buildings.
cool.
And
That
then it
was
just
cool.
took off and flew on its own.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's thinking about himself.
Yeah, he's thinking about himself, and I was just so happy to see all of those people in that, bridge, spaceship, ship, or whatever he had,
Mm
being filed out in handcuffs.
hmm. Mm hmm.
You know, at the end, like, all of them should get thrown into Belle Reve for however many years they can get. Like,
Yeah.
I
Well,
hated
we're going
all
to
of
talk
them.
about Belle Reve because, woo, I'm a little nervous about what that's going to brew next. um, But I also, since we were talking about the Fortress of Solitude,
Yes.
I love the tease we got at the end with drunk Supergirl, played by Millie
Yes.
Alcock.
Yes.
Yeah, Millie Alcock, whom a lot of you probably recognize from the first season of House of the Dragon. But yeah, so we find out she has to go to a planet that has a red sun to drink because the yellow sun powers the Kryptonians. So their metabolism goes too fast. They can't get drunk. It just burns off too quickly. And this feeds into James Gunn keeps saying that there's a comic called Woman of Tomorrow, which is his primary inspiration for the Supergirl movie that's coming out June 26th, 2026. So almost a year from now. And that's going to be the next film in the DCU, although we're getting Peacemaker and the Lanterns TV shows in between. And they, of course, yes, I love Supergirl since I was a girl myself because of that 80s movie that I watched on repeat. But after watching this, I started to read the Woman of Tomorrow series because
It's great.
it was a great tease and it's a great series of comics. Indeed.
It's great. I love that story.
Yeah.
I love that story. And it is a direct, like, the opening of the comic is that she's
Right.
getting
It's
drunk.
yeah, she's getting drunk on a planet with a red sun.
With a red
Yeah.
sun, is exactly that. And I am so looking forward to it because I thought that story was such a awesome, awesome story.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love the reveal that Superman's was doing all this stuff and fighting for a dog that's not even his own dog, it's his
Right.
cousin's dog.
You're right.
But then I just love the reveal also because, well, okay, so all right, comic spoiler incoming, but in the beginning of that comic, Crypto gets shot. We would later find out at the very end that Crypto's fine, but I'm like,
Right.
no, I want Crypto in it, but just let Crypto be in the story. Although I understand CGI costs.
Right. Right. Right.
And in Supergirl's defense, Clark was mocking her about when she said, did the door move? But they literally rotated the fortress to face the sun. So don't be a dick, Clark. The door actually did move.
Uh,
Oh. Right, should we talk about that scene? A lot of people are calling the interview scene the best in the movie. Do you agree?
yeah, yeah. Is it the best scene in the movie? Oh man, that's give me until the end of the pod to answer that question.
I mean, yeah, because I was thinking about it, and in a lot of ways, it is a rather long scene, although it doesn't feel like it.
It
It's totally
is.
gripping. But it's also it's the most it's just two people talking in a room. It's literally just two people talking in a room, and the fact that it's so gripping is incredible. But it's not like where the rest of the movie all kinds of superhero stuff is happening, and this is just two people being human with each other. And
I mean, that final scene with him and Lex too,
mm,
where you took the quote that he made about what he's, just trying to be human. I think
mm-hmm,
that was pretty powerful as well.
yeah,
Because on both sides, you see what's driving like this. You see humanity right there in Clark and in Lex in that moment.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the moment. That was the only moment where I felt sorry for Lex. I
Oh
hated
no.
him the rest of the movie.
Oh, you felt sorry for him? Oh gosh.
For that one moment when he
He,
realized that he had lost to Superman,
he
and he just
confirmed
and the entire world had
everything.
turned on him, and he deserved it. He deserved it. But he you saw like he really it hurt him as a human. My heart went out to him just a little tiny bit in that moment,
Oh
almost,
no.
almost. But he
Oh
was just
gosh, no.
all right. We'll talk about Lex in a
Yeah, we'll
minute, but
talk about it.
but the interview, I do think it's interesting because they show Clark is not the perfect character. You know, we see
Yes.
nuance, we see the depths, we see the consequences we've been talking about, and it's calls back to a scene ripped straight out of the original Christopher Reeve movies, but it's now has an entirely new energy because Lois is challenging him. She's not fawning over him.
Right.
She
Right.
knows, she's like, I know who you really are. And I'm here to lovingly raise some fucking questions about your behavior and make you think about things. And I feel like this scene is in a lot of ways the thesis of the movie, about because Clark even he's been interviewing himself and just like printing like Superman did this. And she's
Yeah,
like,
and
that's not
that's
how
not
journalism
journalism,
works.
buddy. You know, that's not journalism, my friend. You know, I think the scene, the interesting part of it for me is that Lois, in asking him these questions, is really protecting him as well.
Mm,
Because if he were to go in front of any other camera or any other, setting to
mm-hmm,
answer those questions, how would he react in that moment? She's given him the space there to be vulnerable. And I think that's really important.
yeah.
She's asking him these hard questions to answer, making him think about what he's doing, but in a setting that allows him to be vulnerable
Mm-hmm,
because it's just the two of them.
mm-hmm, yeah.
Not only is she doing great journalism, but she's
Mm-hmm.
being a great partner.
Right. She's training him for she's like press training him basically because she's
Yeah,
they have all these back and forths about what's on and or off the record, and she's like, no, like
right.
you have to like we can take certain liberties because I'm here, but that's not how this works, and you
That's
will
not how it
get
works
caught
in the
out.
real world.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna get caught out if you don't learn this stuff.
So let me help you by
Mm-hmm.
asking you these tough questions that are giving you all these hard feelings and
Mm-hmm.
emotions. Let's work through that. And I
Yeah.
think it's a revelation for both of them,
Mm-hmm.
that this is what partnership looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, because she's also struggling. She wants to she do the thing that a lot of people who have been on their own for a while is just push someone away as soon as it gets
Yes.
difficult. As soon as,
Yes.
there's friction.
Because he's given as good as she's given as well. Right? Making her question as well. He's like, what would you have me do? They were going to be murdered. They're going to be killed. How do you answer that question? For herself.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I like this new take on Lois. Yeah.
It's a great scene.
I liked how they played it, like, between being in the newsroom and then being back at the apartment where they're like, "Oh, did you see where we were all?" And, like, so people at the Daily Planet don't know Clark is Superman, but they all definitely know they've been dating secretly, quote unquote, for 3 months. And again, that number 3 months of dating.
How did you feel about the glasses thing?
Yeah, so they said that he has hypnotic glasses that make his face look different.
Yeah.
Which it's like a perfectly comic.
It's a comic book thing.
Booky, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about
there's a comic book thing.
The canon, the comic book source of that?
I mean, again, it's, you know, it's from Superman 330, and it's Master Mesmerizer Metropolis.
So it's from this came out the same year as the original movie.
Yeah, 78? 77, 78. So yeah, this, you know, Kryptonian plexiglass, and it amplifies a kind of super hypnosis that is always working at low power. And when you look at Kal-El or Clark, it makes him look frailer. He's not really, you know, good looking. And it's just, you know, it totally shifts your what's the word I'm looking for? It makes
your perception,
you know, Clark Kent, your perception of what Clark Kent really looks like.
Yeah. The name perception immediately popped into my head because in Doctor Who there are things called perception filters, and this would be kind of like that. So people are like, it's goofy. I'm like, I don't know. It seems pretty standard sci-fi to me.
Yeah, but also they said it wasn't. It was an alternate Earth later, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that we have to. I guess Gunn will have to clear that up. I think no.
Well, I mean, but this is a different continuity than the comics. So in this case, this is on Earth 1, if they're going to call it that. We'll see if they bring that into it. Yeah, I like that this was a concept that was suggested by a super fan named Al Schroeder III. And I love when I go back and I read these comics from the 70s, they like Marvel comics, they have at the back the letters pages.
Yeah,
It's cool that these letters pages are time capsules of how people reacted to these comics when they came out. So
yeah, absolutely.
Kind of helped me appreciate the concepts more. And I like that this was a super fan who wrote in, like, knew all the Superman canons. Like, here's an explanation for the thing everyone complains about, you know, Superman. Why? How would you not know it's him with glasses? And they took it and they made it canon. So it's like head canon became canon. And now James Gunn's rolling with it as well. Yeah. Question: the version of Superman that we've seen in this movie, would you want him to be a benevolent dictator? Would you put him in charge of the world?
No, you can't be a benevolent dictator. No such thing, in my estimation. The two don't match.
Would you make him president of the world?
There's only one President Superman, and he black.
Okay, touche.
That's a, you know, I'm not making Kal-El.
Okay, all right, fair.
We already got President Superman.
I did not realize that the role was taken.
Oh yeah. That role was taken. Alternate universe, definitely.
But I think the instinct is for a lot of people to want to say, like, Superman is the perfect being who should be in charge. And this movie showed that. I mean, it's not that he shouldn't be. He's probably, I would rather him be president of the United States, for example, although he's not eligible, than a lot of other people. I don't even mean to be specific. I do mean like a lot of other people, you know, most of the politicians.
I think there's a story. There's a story, a Superman story, Superman Red Sun, where he lands in Russia.
Mm.
right, during the 1930s.
Mhm.
And as the story goes along, he becomes the premier of Russia and realizes that that's not his role.
Mm. Mhm.
Realizes
Yeah.
that he can do a lot of things, he can do all these great, fantastic things, but humanity has to be humanity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I couldn't.
And I
Yeah,
think you always need someone to keep you in check. So I was glad to see Lois keeping him in check in this movie. And she's not the
yeah,
only one who
definitely.
does. Like Mr. Terrific too.
No, no,
Yeah.
yeah, terrific is
Um
terrific.
and I find it funny that we referenced the squirrel thing. I love the squirrel thing. I that moment got me. I'm an animal
It's so
lover.
Superman.
Yeah. But it's also so they literally named, I'm pretty sure this is where the name comes from. There's a technique in writing called save the cat where you have your hero do something heroic at the beginning, like saving a cat. And I'm pretty sure it's named after that scene from the 1978 Superman, where Superman literally saves a cat from a tree. And so now instead we get Save the Squirrel, which it was so unexpected. It made me burst out in laughter, but it was also like, oh, he's the real Superman.
And in the moment, I felt like this was a direct repudiation of the Snyderverse Superman,
Mm-hmm.
where Clark didn't save Pa. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
save Jonathan Kent. He watched him die, where
Mm.
he could have swooped in and saved him. This is, and that's the person who raised him, right? And we have this Superman in mid fight swooping
Mm-hmm.
in to save a squirrel.
Yeah.
The drastic difference
Mm-hmm.
in a young Clark Kent, even though he was a teen at the time, but still
Yeah.
not being so, you know, worried about revealing himself, and a
Mm-hmm.
fully fleshed out Superman who stops to save a squirrel.
Yeah.
A big difference in characters.
Mm-hmm. But he's also this hopefulness, this idealism is balanced by the other people in his life, like Lois pushing back, but also we'll get into in a minute the Justice Gang are pushing back also on
Yeah.
him. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But what do you think about the journey that Clark and Lois go on throughout this film? Where I love, by the way, they have that big discussion with the monster fighting in the background. I thought that was a
Yeah, that was great. That was
that's
hilarious.
good.
That was
They're like, "Do you need to help them?" No, they're fine. They got
no, they
it.
can handle it. It's fine. And then you have Green Lantern hitting the thing with a great green
Big
bat, and
lift,
that was
yeah.
baseball bat. That was good stuff. That was
Yeah.
good stuff.
And then, it ends with the final kiss at the end in the Cleveland Arcade real building, but, something in Metropolis, and they are back together. I saw there was one review or someone shared the review with me where someone was complaining it was too much of a rom-com, the movie.
Oh hell no, no!
I'm like, if anything, it's a
Like get out of
rom-com
your
between him and
feelings, bro.
Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, give me a break. You know what I'm saying? Go find some love. No way. No, definitely not too much of a rom com.
I mean, I think the interesting thing about this movie is you could dig into any corner of it and like do an entire series. Just the press office itself, we talked about Jimmy Olsen played by Giscondo. Um he that was a really interesting rendition that we're probably going to see more of, and then I guess maybe in such a series we would see more of the rest of the office. We got Wendell Pierce playing Perry White, the editor in
Yeah,
chief. And apparently, so I don't know if this is the actor's headcanon or really DCU canon, but Pierce said that White is always grumpy because Luther had an affair with Perry's wife, and Perry's second child might actually be Luther's.
I think that's in the comics,
Okay,
but I'll come
okay,
back to that. I'll
okay.
definitely come back to that. If not at the end of this pod, then on our Discord. But yeah,
Yeah. And we see other, like, they have other characters who are there and feel like real characters. They don't have time to get into everybody, of course. We have Steve Lombard, we have Cat Grants was one I recognized. We have Ron Troop. So, and then we have also blended with a real world person. We get Real life ABC news correspondent Will Reeve, Christopher Reeve's son, makes a cameo as a reporter in the movie, and that's a really nice touch, I thought. Did you ever see the documentary Superman, the Christopher Reeve story?
No, I didn't. I've never watched it.
Okay. Yeah, it came out last year, and it's technically a DCU publication, although it's nonfiction. It's about Christopher Reeve's life and, how he became Superman and his experience with it. And then, of course, obviously, after he was fell and was paralyzed and everything. Um,
So
so, yeah, it's
real quick, yes, but not a daughter, but a son named Jerry. So Perry's wife did have a affair with Luther, and they
uh-huh.
did have a child that
Uh-huh.
Perry raised as his stepson.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, lots to dig into. I guess if there's a Jimmy Olsen series, it would touch on all that stuff. It would probably be based around the Daily Planet, I would assume.
Right.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. So we touched on Lex. What did you think of this version of Lex Luthor?
Oh my gosh. Just yeah, this was villainous and
Mm-hmm.
just absolutely delicious villainy.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you want. I was waiting for put on a fake mustache and twirl it, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Just get that out of the way. He was, oh man, so great at being bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is the Lex Luthor for the times.
Yeah. Nicholas Hoult also auditioned for Superman.
No.
Yeah, this was right. This was right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He embodied that role. Like
Mm-hmm.
he put his foot into Lex. Like really stepped into it. Just yeah. Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
quite not sure how you still have a semblance of empathy for him. I'm waiting to
Hmm.
hear this.
Hmm. I was just thinking, so someone, Jake from Letterboxd was commenting on, I've been watching also old Batman movies,
Mm-hmm.
and I was saying that Val Kilmer should have been the Joker rather than Batman. And Jake was saying that you, the best Batman, the actors could just as easily play
The
Joker.
villain. Right.
Like I think Christian Bale, things like that, because you always talk about this. I always think of you with this about how the important center of these stories is the relationship between the hero and their arch nemesis.
Yes.
And they're
Yes.
kind of, and they're two sides. We see this coming back over and over in various things that we've talked about, like Daredevil Born Again and
Yes.
other series that they're often shown as two sides of the same coin in juxtaposition with each other. And this was really, and so it's interesting, yeah, that he auditioned for Superman, became Lex. I could have seen him as Superman, but I think David Corn Sweat is just too perfect. Too perfect.
Yeah, I couldn't see him as Superman.
Mm.
He is Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
He is
Mm-hmm.
Luthor. This is it. This is
Yeah.
yeah. He perfect casting.
He tells himself a story. Like we have, yeah, I said there's the save the cat moment. He's has the torture the dog moment, and is very like, yes, I'm jealous, but tells himself he's the Prometheus who's saving the world from the other titans. Which, yeah, Prometheus is the one from mythology, is a titan himself, so
Yes.
he's bigging himself up, but Prometheus is the one who brought fire to humanity, and I'm not sure that this tracks, but
Yeah, it doesn't track at
that's what
all.
he said.
This is a Lex Luthor that is just like you wrote, openly ruled by his jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the base of everything that he's doing. Like, why can I not be as loved or more loved by the world than this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Look at me. I'm
I'm
rich.
so
I'm
smart.
smart.
Yeah.
I'm doing the things that people wish they could be doing. And here
Mhm.
comes this, lumbering He-Man
Mhm.
who's all brawn, no brain, and everybody's fawning over this person, this thing, when they should be fawning over me.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's interesting. to have him as a contrast with Mr. Terrific, who's also super genius
Yes.
tech guy, but I have the feeling Mr. Terrific does not care what anybody thinks, except in that second credit scene. He was a little annoyed with Superman judging him. But I get that.
He
But
cares. Mr. Terrific cares. Michael cares about people.
I'm not
He
saying he doesn't
does.
care about people, but one of the things that I loved about him was the nonchalance that he gave off at all times.
He gives off Bruce Wayne vibes. Batman.
Hmm.
Not Bruce Wayne, Batman vibes.
Hmm.
Like Mr. Terrific and
I think he's
Batman.
cooler than Batman,
Oh,
but
I think he's way cooler than Batman for me.
yeah.
But that's the vibe. Like, you don't know as much as I do.
Mm-hmm.
Let me handle this shit. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'll let you know when I need your help.
Hmm. But Mr. Terrific also has an interesting contrast with the engineer, Angela Spisa, I think, played by Maria Gabriela de Faria, who's from Venezuela. And so in this version of the story, she basically is like infused with nanotech that's like merged into her very being. So her cells are kind of have become nanotech and she can just shift. Whereas like Mr. Terrific uses technology, she is become technology.
Yeah, she is tech.
Mhm.
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, she's giving away her humanity.
Although it's a pretty cool power that she has.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely dope. Those nanites are cool, but she's giving away her humanity to
She
become
said
something other.
yeah. She said that the actress said that she played it as if she and Lex had a secret sexual relationship. Did you pick that up?
I didn't. I didn't.
I didn't, but I can see it. Because there's also, I did notice during it that Eve Tessmacher, who she was played by Victoria's Secret and Calzedonia model Sarah Sempau, who's from Portugal. And Eve was a character from the 1978 movie. You know, that's a trope with
Mrs.
Lex Luthor.
Techmarker!
Yeah, it's a trope with Lex. And he always has these girlfriends who betray him, which fair. They do it for a reason because he sucks. Um, but yeah, so Lex is supposed to be with Eve, but it seemed he was a lot nicer to the engineer. Like he was more into where's Angela? What's
Oh,
he thinks
yeah. Yeah.
he values her more, I would say.
Yeah, because she's, out there getting his master plan, into motion. Lex is
Mm-hmm.
someone who's putting ex-girlfriends in prisons and alternate dimensions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I can't imagine him caring very much for the person who's sitting across from him at dinner or in
Right.
bed. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he
Right.
doesn't care.
Yeah, and I think Eve plays into it too. Like she's taking these selfies all the time, and then you realize later, and when you look at the movie, every time she takes a selfie, it's when something big happens in the background.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so she's playing dumb, but
But she's not.
she's
Yep,
not dumb.
yep. And I like that.
What'd you think about her romance with Jimmy?
I thought Jimmy was a shit.
Yeah, he called her mutant toes. I
Yeah, I
didn't.
thought
What was
Jimmy
wrong
was
with
a
her
shit.
toes?
I didn't like any of that. So I think she can do better than Jimmy.
Somebody says that she's hot, and then Jimmy's like, "Oh, really?" And then at the end, he's like, "Well,
No, she can do better than Jimmy Olsen.
nobody's." Yeah, yeah.
Find
Jimmy
somebody
did not
better,
treat her right.
Eve. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
find somebody for you. Jimmy's not it. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't
Mm-hmm.
deserve her.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think she's not the one for Lex. I could see Lex and the
No,
engineer living happily ever
no,
after.
no. She needs to find her person. Neither one of
Yeah.
these individuals are her
Mm-mm.
persons.
But so the engineer is a character who would turn up in the Authority film that's supposed to be in development, but apparently it's been put on pause because I guess they're stuck on what angle they're going to take to. Probably they want to make it different from like the Suicide Squad and the Boys and
Yeah, I don't think the Authority is anything like that. So I
yeah.
can't see watching this movie. I can't see this engineer as part of the Authority.
I mean, I'm sure it'll take a different form as it often does in
Right.
adaptations with these comic books. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I guess they're just trying to crack the angle in. But she's the one who decodes the rest of the message from Soup's parents, and Lex releases it to the world and causes this total backlash, which I think there's an interesting with the backlash that we get. It's interesting to have that earlier conversation we talked about with Lois and Superman, where she's
Hmm.
pushing back firmly, but from a place of love and nuance, and versus this backlash we get from the public where it's just hysterical lashing out with no questions asked, just like,
And it's
oh,
immediate.
mm-hmm.
The backlash is immediate. Like,
Yep.
there's no pause. There's no wait to see if this is true or not. It's just
Mm-hmm.
immediate backlash.
Right.
But then when you see Lex bring him to the prison and you see the monkeys who
Yeah.
are typing away,
Farming hate.
fomenting,
Mm-hmm.
farming the rage.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Which
like
is something
people,
that, yeah.
go ahead.
No, as I say, it is something that happens in the real world, not with
Right,
monkeys, but there are
right.
there are people who are forced to do these content, these hate farms like that. Yeah.
And priming people to have the very reaction that they had when they saw the video,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Just giving
Yeah.
people the runway to when something happens, they've already been conditioned to react in a specific way.
Yeah, and of course, just latching on to the most hysterical part, like you're, it's a harem. Oh, and
Yeah,
then I love the Baravia guy was like, well, actually, our women are his favorite.
yeah, that was so. They're like, this guy.
Lois is like, nah, I don't buy any of this. Obviously, it's not Clark Kent.
Did you
No,
or
of
do
course
you
not.
still? No,
What?
do you believe the message?
Oh, do I think that it was real?
Yes,
Do I think his parents said that? I
yes,
mean, I thought about it because they did make sure to say in the film that, oh no, we had it checked by the best experts and it's
I know.
real.
But
But
do you think it's real?
I mean, it's like if anyone could fake it, it would be the engineer. I don't know. I think I don't hate if it is real. Like I don't have a problem with it being real. I think that's interesting.
I don't hate that it's real, but I don't know if it's real.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
No,
there's a
yeah,
part of me that still believes that this recording was altered.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
a
No,
part of me that believes that.
yeah, no, that could definitely be true.
And there's a huge, not a huge, but there are a lot of people who are upset that this could be real because it takes
Right.
away from what Jor-El and Laura, sent Kal-El away for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they didn't send him away to be a dictator. Like, the first
Mm-hmm.
part of the message is the message for many people.
Mm-hmm.
So the second part of this message, where rule them with a, what do you say? Rule them. They're stupid people, and you can
Right.
rule over them and
Mm-hmm.
make sure you spread your genes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's more of, you know, that's not what people think when they think of Jor-El and Lara.
No. No,
They
because
think that of Zod.
right. Right.
So it'll be interesting if it is real and we get a future with more Kryptonians, or we get insight into that with Supergirl.
Mm-hmm. Or with, well, I mean, I wonder because there's been some slips with people in the press that suggest that there is another something with Superman in it in the works.
Okay.
And James Gunn has like talked about this. There's a secret project nobody knows about him. Like, could it be a Superman sequel that maybe goes
Mm.
more into the Kryptonian side of things?
Yeah, because I would love to see, because the next movie is Supergirl, if I'm not mistaken,
Right.
right? And she was not a baby. She was not a child when she left
Mm-hmm.
Krypton.
Mm-hmm.
So she would know more about that.
Right. Yeah. Will we get the origin story?
And is this a reason why she goes other places to get drunk?
Mm-hmm. Will we get Argo City? Yeah.
Right. Because of the history that she knows.
Right. Because that's why. Yeah. She's drinking because she's gone through some stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So it sets up an interesting question
Yeah. Everybody
for
watch the 1984 film. It's fun and it explains a lot of that stuff. um. Oh, so okay, we talked a bit about Ultraman, but I think the key about this version of Ultraman is that he's a dim-witted clone who's completely controlled by Lex. Do you think, okay, at the end, we saw Ultraman go through a black hole, which Ultraman would probably survive. Do you think Ultraman will become Bizarro Superman?
Who? Possible, but I'm not 100% sold on it
Hmm.
because we don't know how dim-witted he is. We don't know how. We don't know much of anything about
I mean,
Ultraman
we saw.
aside from the parts that he's being mind controlled by Luthor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what happens when
When
he's
that's cut
not
off.
mind
Yeah.
controlled by Luthor? What does
Yeah.
Ultraman become?
Yep.
So I'm not terribly sure if he will be a Bizarro because I just don't know
Would that be an
enough.
interesting
Right.
would that be an interesting take for you if he did?
Mm, I'm not keen on seeing Bizarro in the
No.
on
Okay.
film. It's not my favorite character. Never has been. So I'm just not. I don't think we need evil opposite Supermans in the world,
Hmm.
personally.
Why I
Or not
have
even
to
evil, just opposite
right.
Supermans.
I mean, I have to hope if they do that, and I think that all signs point to the fact that they would take a different, more nuanced approach to
Right.
it than we've
Yeah.
seen
Yeah.
in like animated series and things like that. Um, by the way, fun fact: Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor in Smallville, was one of the voices of one of Luthor's Raptor guards. So that's fun. Another fun Easter egg was there's a character. There's one of the people in the background was Otis Berg, and Otis was second in the original in the Superman movie from
Yeah.
1978, and in a similar thing to what we get here with the Lex wanting to create his own country. Yeah, Lex wants to create, his own country, and says, "Okay, we'll have this part be Otisburg for you." And so they named a character that for this. That was fun. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just think that, you talked about James Gunn's comic book cred. You just see it coming out in spades in this film. Obviously, a team worked
Yeah.
on this, and I know a lot of people contributed, but I just am all of like the world building in the background, like the food and drink brands in this world and everything. It's all gonna tie together, I'm pretty sure, and just creates this otherworldly, this is not our planet.
Planet situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, when we spoke about the music earlier, I love that they have their own, you know, musical
Mm-hmm.
inspirations,
Mm-hmm.
that is specific to their world. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. I mean, and just I, I love Marvel. I love Marvel, but I think
Yeah.
it's cool that DC, the geographies, even more. Marvel has different countries. We've talked about
Hmm.
Sokovia and Latveria and things like that. But DC has, like, there is no New York City in DC.
Right.
There is no Coca Cola there, or there's no Oreos. There's, what is it, the Cocos or whatever cookies. They're like doing an advertising campaign for it in the movie.
But
Um, yeah, I know. I think it's really cool, and I also think it's cool how, like, the whole. I could dig into any one of those people who are in Lex Luthor's team and, like, why, how did they get to this point, and why are they being such sycophants to this Steve Jobs wannabe guy?
just look around. Look around our real world. You know what I'm saying? Look at
Mm,
all those 20 late teen, early 20 somethings that Musk hired to run his government agency. You know what I
mm-hmm,
mean? These are the same types of folks. They don't care. The joy and the glee that they had in watching, Ultraman take down Superman and just, you know, listening to Lex and the happiness and the smirks on their faces, like, yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah, look at what we're doing, ha ha ha, type of attitude. Just really, it tracks. It tracks.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be interesting to see if these characters turn up in the future, because they've lost their leader. So what's going to happen to them?
Out there in jail, they all got arrested.
Well, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, did they create a gang in jail?
Well, I don't know if they have the wherewithal to do that.
All right. Well, speaking of gangs, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the Justice Gang.
Yeah.
All right, so we are back, and let's start with we've said a lot about Mr. Terrific, but let's say more things about Mr. Terrific. So his real name is Michael Holt, played by Edie Gathegi, and known for just being super smart with high tech gadgets. Now, you say this is a particular favorite of yours. What do you like about Mr. Terrific?
Because he upends everything. He's like, you know, he's rich, black, and super smart. Maybe the third, second, fourth smartest person in DCU, depending on who's writing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I just when I first read Mr. Terrific, I just was like, yeah, this is so fucking cool. You know, to
Yeah.
have this type of character. And just, in the way that he's played, just really I just just I love everything about the character on screen. I really did.
Mm-hmm.
From when he says, I'm tracking everybody.
He's got tracking nanos in
Yeah,
everybody's
I'm
blood.
tracking
It's like,
everybody. And then Guy Gardner and Hawk Girl, they look at each other like, whoa,
what?
wait a minute, what? What? And that is so, again, to make the comparison between him and Batman, but that is so Batman. So we don't have Batman in this movie, but obviously there's some sort of, interaction, because that is so Batman-y of Terrific to be like, I'm tracking everybody. I'm making sure I know where everybody's at. I want to know what everybody's doing, and
Also,
yeah,
just the way, yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
the way that he delivers everything, like so nonplussed, is just like you just kind of accept it. Whereas if someone else had said it, you'd be like, "Get it out, get it out." It's like, well, okay. I mean, because at least that's how they found Superman. So,
Right. And the T spheres,
mm-hmm.
still great.
Mm-hmm.
Like that fight scene that he has on the beach with Lois, where
Yeah.
he puts Lois in the the whatever, the bubble, and
Mm-hmm.
he's taking on the Raptors. Oh man, that was so cool. That was so cool, and it goes to show, what someone can do without superpowers.
Right. I did feel, I mean, these are really high tech spheres. We see like they can
Yeah,
do holographs, they can, record, they can hack into other
hack.
machines, they can do energy bursts. And then you see Crypto playing catch with them. And I felt
Yeah,
his pain. I felt
he's
his
like,
pain.
no.
Those are expensive.
So
Those are
yeah, it
not
was
easy to make, dog.
really good stuff, man. I really liked
Yeah.
him. And then that scene with him and Lois, he's like, when they're going to the ship, and they're just waiting for the garage door to open, and she's like, "You got a spaceship, and this is taking this long for the
Yeah,
garage
I
door to
forgot
open."
about that.
He's like, "I'm working on it."
he's like I'm building T spheres. I'm not making fast garage doors. Priorities.
That was really cool. That was really great. So I like these little interactions that they have that
Mm-hmm.
break up the character, and I think they did
Yeah.
that with all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like these really fantastical, concepts of people. But
Mm-hmm.
in those concepts, you have these moments where it's just two people. They're just human.
Yeah. Well, the actor Gathegi describes the character as an atheist who believes in justice and says he found knowledge, like he found meaning in knowledge after his wife died. And so
Yeah.
I presume we're going to get more of that story, but they don't explain any of that in this movie. And they don't explain the mask. Do you want to explain the mask?
Yeah, the mask like hides him. It hides his identity. Like it's almost like hypno glasses, basically. So you're looking at Terrific, and you see this T, but it's really hiding his facial features.
Okay. And it also, he can use it, it's tech itself, right? Like
Yes,
nanotech.
yes. And it's, connecting to the spheres and his other technology as well.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm totally did not know this character before this. Totally all in on him now. I'm a fan. Yeah, I love the credit scene. I want to see him and Superman in like a buddy cop comedy sort of thing, where like he's looking at he's like, what is wrong with your face? What are you looking at? Like, the building's not even. Like, what, you want me to
it's a
take the
little
whole
off.
city apart and put it back together again?
Yeah, it's a little off. It's a little off here. I'm like, man, kicking rocks. You know, I love that.
Yeah. Hmm. So the next one is one who's not people's favorite characters, but I think they played it well, the aspects of that, and that's Guy Gardner, one of the Green Lanterns, played by Nathan Fillion. And we're going to see him again, by the way, in Peacemaker and in the Lanterns TV show. What did you think of this version of Guy Gardner?
Loved it. Loved it. Guy's a jerk in comics
Mm-hmm.
to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Not to one person, not to this person, but to everyone. He's a jerk. So him being so, sure of himself and sure of his place and just being condescending and not really being any there's no and being an egoist. That is
Mm-hmm.
Guy Gardner. You know what I mean? So I thought Nathan Fillion did just a stand-up job of portraying that aspect of him. He's a hero, but he's hard. He makes it hard for you to like him.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he's doing all this heroic stuff. He makes it so hard for you to like and appreciate what he does. And I think
See,
he captured that.
the way I think this iteration is well played. Well, first of all, I totally respect Nathan Fillion fighting to keep the comics bowl cuts. I think
Oh
that
yeah,
was a great
definitely.
decision that worked.
Yes.
Um, but I think it's difficult when you have a douchey character like this who is one of the good guys. It's difficult to find that balance where they are just like, you're like, oh my god, this guy's the worst, but also he's entertaining to watch. Like,
He is.
I don't like, as a person, it's someone who would be, your annoying cousin in your family. You're like, "Oh, bro, I love you, but shut up," you know?
Yeah, he's not cringe.
Mhm.
He doesn't come off as cringe, but he comes off as like, oh, come on, get out of here with this shit.
Well, what about when he revealed Superman's identity to Lois, which luckily
That
she
was
already
hilarious.
knew.
She was like, what if I didn't know? But he's like, but you already know.
And Hawk Girl's like, oh man.
So that was
Uh,
really good. That was really good.
So Nathan Fillion is funny. Nathan Fillion, he has voiced a different version, a different Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, in animated series. So
He's the Green Lantern, right?
right, yeah. I mean, there's the Lantern Corps, and then there's
I mean,
these.
and for me, rankings would be John, Hal.
So John first, then Hal.
For me, yeah.
Okay. And we are, by the way, for anyone who doesn't, this Lantern show that's going to be out, is right now, they just say early 2026, so before Supergirl. It's going to we're going to get Guy Gardner, Nathan Fillion back, and we are going to get the Hal Jordan version, which is Hal Jordan's the version that Ryan Reynolds played in that movie that everyone
Yes.
except me hates. Um,
How do you not hate that movie?
what? How can I
How do
not
you
hate?
not hate it?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't say I love it, but I don't hate it. People really hate that movie. But this version, this time Hal Jordan's going to be played by Kyle Chandler, and we're getting Jon Stewart, like you said, and Jon Stewart is the one in the Justice League animated series, and he's going to be played by Aaron Pierre, and Aaron Pierre looks exactly like the Justice League animated series version of Jon Stewart.
Not exactly like him, but
uh,
it's all right.
well, I think one key thing is, and they didn't do this with, do they always have glowy green eyes? Because they didn't do that in this movie.
Not all. No.
Because Aaron Pierre has like very little pigmentation in his eyes, which give a really striking look. But it just made me think that they could do the glowy green eyes thing with him.
Right. Yeah, but what I will say is that a lot of black folk wanted a more. How do I? A lot of folks wanted a darker skinned Green Lantern to
Okay.
really reflect Jon Stewart, because as he's
Okay.
drawn in the comic books, he's much more. He's a dark skinned black man.
Okay.
Right. And for a long time, we get in movies that we don't see darker skinned Black people represented on screen,
Yeah.
right? And there's a break with this because I see Mr. Terrific, who's
Right.
also drawn as a dark skinned Black man, being portrayed by a dark skinned Black man. All right, so I think there were people who were disappointed. I happen not to be one of those persons, but I understood it and I
Right.
understand it.
No, I get it. I get it. My question in regards to those two characters is, so I
Yeah.
only know the Jon Stewart Lantern from the Justice League animated series,
Yes.
and he's such a serious character there. And I'm sure that they're differentiating it, but I'm just because we have this sort of deadpan tone with Mr. Terrific.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I hope that I'm interested to see how they draw distinctions in their personalities.
I think John is a military person, right?
More ordered.
Yeah. And
Well, yeah.
in the comics, he's come to be known as the greatest Green Lantern,
Okay.
right? So he's had some wild adventures in the last 5-10 years that have really elevated him as far as the scope of what he can do
Mm-hmm.
with willpower, um, and really is a testament to the writing that they've gone above and beyond to make him a central figure within the comics, um, in the superhero community. But
Mm.
I think you'll get, I don't think you'll get a happy-go-lucky Jon Stewart because he's not
No.
that.
No, I don't mean that he should be
He will
happy
be a
go
serious,
lucky.
I think he is a serious
Yeah,
character.
yeah. But I'm sure they're gonna give him a distinctive personality. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, yeah, he's not Mr. Terrific. Mr.
Yeah.
Terrific is just like, I'm better than you. I'm smarter than
Yeah.
you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm smarter than you.
So
Let
you're
me
saying
do what
he's
I
less
do.
arrogant.
I think so. I think John is just a serious person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about being better than you. It's about, I need to get the job done.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good distinction. Yeah. I know Hawkgirl, played by Isabella Merced,
Yeah.
she said she hopes in the animated series for Justice League, Hawkgirl and Jon Stewart get together, and she
But there's a
says,
different Hawk Girl.
Okay, they did take inspiration. We don't know much about this Hawkgirl's
Yeah,
backstory,
we
but they
don't
did
know.
take inspiration. James Gunn did say that he took inspiration from these series.
With Kendra and Shiera are two different, they're two very different characters.
Well, okay, so this is what we heard. Okay, oh, just to wrap up the lanterns before,
Yeah.
Nathan Fillion said about his character that, and I guess this comes from the comics origin, that Gardner was hit by a bus and in a coma, and brain damage flipped the switch for his personality, and that's kind of why he is the way he is now. But I love seeing. I can see why people complain about the Ryan Reynolds movie and that the powers didn't look right. Now that I see them done properly. I mean, they did a good job with that in this movie. I loved
They did a great job with
the
that.
middle fingers flipping over the
That was
tanks.
cool. That was great. That was cool.
But anyway, so what Isabella Merced said about her character is that she is reincarnated from an alien retaining her memories and past trauma with a grumpy demeanor. So I don't know, they could be for the DCU mixing together different versions of Hawkgirl from the comics.
Maybe because, you know, in the show, you know, Shiera is who she is. She's from thank God she's an alien. She is, you know, that's what she is. She's not a reincarnation of into someone else's body. She inhabits her own person. She is who she is. You know, so Kendra has this other history of being reincarnation, and having all those past lives, where Shiera doesn't have that, right? So I don't know if they'll play that up or not, but I'm interested to see where they go because, you know, I think Hawkgirl is a fascinating character. I think, you know, her and Hawkman are just really the themes of past lives really
Mm.
resonate, and just to see how try to become better, or what you're trying to achieve in each consecutive life that you live, I think could be, great fodder for a story.
Mhm. Yeah, I hope. I mean, that's the thing with this movie is everything they set up, I wanna dig into more. Do you think it's fair when we have the rapid grow kaiju, which is so cute, and I was with Superman, I was like, "Don't kill the
Yeah.
kaiju," but they're like, "Superman, you're naive. You can't trap this thing. It's only gonna cause more people to die." Which side do you fall on there?
Send it to the intergalactic zoo, like
Yeah,
Superman said. Like Soup said, maybe we could find an intergalactic zoo to take him.
but can you get it out of
That's
the city before it
he probably could have.
Mm,
He probably could have. He could have
yeah.
probably grabbed it and brought it to an uninhabited space in the North Pole or wherever.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
like Green Lantern could have contacted someone to come pick this thing up.
Mhm.
His ring is a communicator as well, right? So he could have easily sent out a signal
If somebody
to come get
can
it.
pull it up
Yeah,
straight up so it doesn't have to Godzilla across the city,
absolutely.
leaving rubble in its wake.
Absolutely. I felt the ways that they did that to the kaiju.
Mhm.
I didn't like
Yeah.
it.
I didn't like
I,
it either.
I
And
didn't
I
like
have to
it.
wonder if so they said they are currently being sponsored by Maxwell Lord. And we got a quick cameo toward the end. Played Maxwell Lord in the GCU's played by Sean Gunn, who's already if we does he play Weasel? What else does he play? Anyway. But yeah, comics spoiler, he's not a hero. This is
No,
not
no,
this is
no.
not a good guy. This is the character that Pedro Pascal played in Wonder Woman 84, one of the
Yes.
villains, and has mind control.
The best part of that movie for me was Pedro Pascal's, but
Yeah, I
that's
like the
another that's
villains were the
another
best part of
another
that
thing.
movie.
Another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's mind control powers. And so I know we're going to see more of Maxwell Lord in Peacemaker season 2, but I just wonder how far down the road to villainy is Maxwell Lord already?
Mm-hmm.
And is there going to be a journey we see of this justice gang breaking away from him? And might they become, I was wondering, could they become the Terrifics because they're setting
Yeah,
up
that's a
Mr.
possibility.
Terrific as kind of a leadership role?
Yeah, definitely that's a possibility.
But I like in the movie, if you look at all the tech they're using all the time, it's it's like Lord
Lord
tech.
Tech.
So it just shows you this man has a stranglehold on the technology of this universe.
Yep.
But I bet Mr. Terrific, if anyone can go against him, yeah, Mr. Terrific's going to take his own tech and go.
Oh, Wonder Woman.
Hmm. And another character that we saw this character in Creature Commandos. We saw his son in the Suicide Squad, and that's Rick Flag Sr., played by Frank Grillo. And so he had white hair in Creature Commandos. His hair's brown because he was like filming or something else at the same time. But I had a lot of sympathy for him from Creature Commandos, but I do not like this character after this film.
I had no sympathy for him in Creature Commandos, and that continues.
But here he's treating Superman as a threat. It's like he's ready to let Lex kill him. And we know we have a lot of discussions about people getting arrested. And Superman, he turns himself in. It's not like Captain America 4. He turns himself in because he wants to get into where crypto is. But Flag is immediately like, yeah, I'm just going to hand you over to the man who hates you the most.
And then he says, "I'm sorry about all this."
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
how
super
sorry
sorry.
are you really?
Super sorry. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come on.
No, it's gonna be interesting to see Frank Grillo Sr. in Peacemaker season 2 because reminder, Peacemaker killed Frank Grillo
His son.
Jr.
Right.
in the Suicide Squad. So yeah, yeah. What do you think of the Peacemaker cameo?
That was hilarious. That was great. I laughed. I laughed out loud when I saw it. Like, this is the problem. Like, this fucking guy. Like, this guy.
He was mocking Superman also. He's mocking
Yes.
Superman in the news on this show, but he was mocking Superman in season 1, and he insisted that Superman has a poop fetish. He was like, no, look at it online. So that casts a whole new light on hashtag super shit that they keep talking about
Right.
in this
Yeah, I didn't
movie.
think about that. I didn't think about that. That's hilarious.
It's just the monkeys manufacturing rage. And yeah, Peacemaker definitely laps that stuff up. Okay, so Lex at the end of the movie is being sent to Belle Reve. Do you think, I mean, that's where Task Force M is, the
Hmm.
from Creature Commandos, that's where Task Force X comes from the Suicide Squad. It feels like sending Lex into the den with all the other supervillains is a bad
It's a
idea.
bad idea.
It feels like a bad
Well,
idea.
they don't know it's a bad idea, right? That's the whole key to everything because what Waller is doing is all in the shadows. So
Mm-hmm.
they don't know it's a bad idea yet. Will they
Yeah.
find out that it's a bad idea? It's quite possible. It's quite possible.
Did some background characters reprising their role from Argus Advanced Research Group uniting superhumans. So they're, um, I mean, we know that there's this TV show Waller that's been gestating in the background that is getting delayed because again they're just trying to crack it. I wonder if it could be something, if Lex could be a part of that,
Hmm.
or even Peacemaker season 2.
Maybe. Maybe. We'll
Hmm.
see.
I'm interested in this whole pocket dimension thing. That's also something from Peacemaker, the quantum unfolding storage area we saw in season 1, and it's coming back in season 2. What did you think about the pocket dimension shenanigans?
It seems like Lex doesn't have that technology fully fleshed out.
No, he's reckless.
Like his is very rudimentary at best.
Yeah.
Whereas in Peacemaker, they've almost like perfected the technology,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Yeah.
interesting to me.
Yeah. I thought it was a cool concept for a prison. Um, there's that new character, Mr. Handsome, played by Trevor Newland,
Yeah.
who's there's a Mr. Handsome in the comics, but I looked him up and he's not at all the same. It's just this is a new character. But and kids apparently loving him. The
The Mr.
Anyway,
Handsome.
Mr. Handsome, the one he's like Sharon, ferrying the
You're right.
prisoners to
The
the land
dead.
of the dead, aka
Yeah.
prison. Yeah, and we see Crypto. We see the mutant monkeys on endless keyboards. We see Crypto there being studied, and Lex threatens to kill him. I'm like, Lex, I hate you.
I know. So bad.
And Lex is like locking up his exes there who wrote bad things about there, and so yeah, I'm glad that like Lex's ex is let out at the end, but they just kind of indiscriminately let everyone go, and I'm wondering
Who else?
who
Yeah.
who else is
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah. We don't know. We know at least he had one superpowered being there, Metamorpho, but did
Mm-hmm.
he have others?
Yeah, yeah. So Metamorpho Rex Mason, that was another new character for me. Were you familiar with him
Yes,
from?
yes.
Mm-hmm. What's his deal?
He's can turn himself into any element in the world, in the universe, in the known universe. So
Yeah.
once he knows about it, what it is, he can basically turn himself into that thing. I thought he was so the imagery, the way that he was portrayed on screen was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like flying, just a head and
Right.
tentacles and
Right.
gas and it just
Mm-hmm.
really, yeah, it was so dope. That
Yeah,
was
they
so
played with
dope.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know his origin story, but when I looked it up, apparently in the comics, he was an archaeologist who was cursed by an ancient artifact while on an expedition. But it's interesting. So he's together with Sapphire Stagg. We saw her at the end, and
Right.
that's his love in the comics. Um, and they have their baby Joey, who is being held hostage to force Metamorpho to produce kryptonite to keep Superman prisoner. And baby Joey, what I mean, in the comics, I guess he has like a reverse power where he can affect other people, but he is like green and alien looking in this. What do you think his deal is?
I don't know. I want to see what they do because it's just there are so many. I want to believe that they're gonna make him more elemental. You
Mm-hmm.
know, than his father. But then I want to know if they're gonna do something completely different. Like Gunn is not. This is, and I think this is the what I will praise Gunn is that he's apparently not afraid to be different.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see how kooky he can get because
Mm-hmm.
there's no way I could have imagined Metamorpho Rex Mason on screen,
Right.
right? Doing the things that he's doing, showing visually those powers at work. I could not have imagined it. But
Mm-hmm.
for Gunn to actually go through with it and
Mm-hmm.
execute it, I'm I'm just like, again, I don't want to think about how things will be. I just want to
Mm-hmm.
see how things are going to be,
Okay.
what they give us.
Right.
Like
Right.
I'm saying, I'm washing my hands out of well, they're going to do this business.
Right. Right. No, I know. And you know I
You
love
know,
to speculate,
I
but I
know
get it.
that
I get
I
it.
just because really that is one part of the movie that I can say that I was
Mm-hmm.
totally not expecting for it to play out the way that it played out.
Mm-hmm.
Kryptonite hands, yes.
Yeah.
All the other stuff that he was doing,
Yeah.
no. I didn't even imagine it. I didn't have the scope to imagine that they would actually do that on screen.
Right. And I liked how they handled Metamorpho's face turn. They had showed that character Molly, who's just this kind falafel
Oh
vendor
gosh.
who, and just gets and just gets pulled into this, and he's like, well, I feel honored to have known you,
Yeah,
and
man,
then
that was
I've seen
tough.
so much Russian roulette recently. I've been watching Squid Game. I was watching this movie in Tacto. It's so much Russian roulette, and I do kind of appreciate the dark humor of a second round whoopsie where he's like, "Oh, I thought that was going to last longer." Well, okay, um, but then Metamorpho. This is where we find out he is. They're holding his son against him, but he
Yeah,
is a good guy. He is one
yeah,
of the heroes.
yeah, yeah. And just he says, and he's crying when it
Mm-hmm.
happens. And then he says to Superman, "Are you sure you could get to him, get to
Right,
his
my
son
baby.
in
Mhm,
time?"
mhm,
And Soup says, "Yeah," and you believe him.
mhm,
That's the power of Superman. Are
right.
you sure you can save my kid? And he
Mhm,
looks at you and says, "Yes," and you believe
mhm.
it.
And one of the coolest things that he does then, so he stops the kryptonite, but Superman needs the sun to heal, and he's like,
Yeah,
"Oh." And he's like, "Well, I can't create a sun, but I can create something like a
like
sun." And it's like, that's so cool because of
yeah,
course he can. He has as
uh-huh.
long as he knows what the parts are, he can
He
recreate
can
it.
do it. He can do it.
Yeah. That was really yeah. Where does the escape sequence from the Pocket Universe rank amongst the action sequences for you?
Oh wow. Um, third,
Okay.
I would put um Terrific's fight,
Mhm.
Superman taking on the Raptors,
Mhm.
escape sequence, Superman versus Ultraman, the final battle.
Hmm. I mean, I think it's
And
between
I'm including the engineer in that,
mhm.
like that whole
Yeah, that's
battle.
true. Yeah, the whole engineer, the battle in the
The
Fortress of
stadium.
Solitude. Oh, I
No,
was
no.
thinking when she does that cool like she does like a handstand and then just
Oh,
reverts
yeah, and
herself on the spot
reverses.
like
Yeah. That was
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I don't yeah, that's this whole sequence it was on the one of the longer ones, and maybe it could have been slightly shorter, but it had a bit of everything. We had although I have a question. Didn't they say that that was a river of antimatter, and why didn't they
Yeah.
fall apart when they touched it?
Because he's Superman.
Yeah, but what about the
Damn
baby?
it. The baby never fell into it. He held the baby
I
up the
guess,
entire
okay.
time. He
Okay.
held the baby up the entire time.
All right, all right. And that's also why Superman wasn't sucked into the hole, which is why I think Ultraman could have survived.
I mean, using his super breath to just like push them, propel them backwards.
Yeah.
That's some Superman shit right there. I paid my ticket to see that.
Yeah.
I bought my ticket for this. This is what I bought my ticket for. Super breath away from the black hole. Let's go. You know what I'm saying?
But I love, that this was followed by Lois taking him back to Kansas for some R&R. I do, for some
Yeah.
reason, in a Superman story, I always love when he goes back to see the Kents.
Yeah, get in to heal,
Mm-hmm.
to get in touch. Even in the Snyderverse, when
Yeah.
he came back to life, it was just like he went straight back to the farm.
Yeah.
Back to the earth. Because we have to remember that Superman gets his powers from the sun, much like flowers and trees, and everything that we live on is from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Gives us life, and him returning to that is just like that's always been a grounding thing, and it's always been a really super, not pun not intended, a really dope thing about his powers, that connection to the earth.
Yeah.
And what feeds the earth, what powers the earth, also powers soups.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
always loved that.
That makes sense. And I love that they give Lois more agency in this movie. I love, you're saying that Mr. Terrific cares about people. I guess we see it in the fact that I can't believe that he handed over his ship to the
Yeah.
Daily Panic crew.
He's
He's
like, it's
like,
intuitive. You can drive it. It's intuitive.
yeah, it's like me trying to teach my friends stick shift when we were in college. Like, it's intuitive.
Like, huh? What?
um, but I love the whole dynamic of the Daily Planet staff taking over the ship.
Yeah, that was cool. That was
Just
cool.
some fun humor with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we get all everything starts to get wrapped up. We find out, it gets out that Lex and Vasil Gurkos, the president of Baravia, have decided to conquer Charanpur and then split it between them as their own little private kingdoms to rule. And that gets revealed because thanks to Eve's selfies. And
Right.
then suddenly it's just like everyone turned on Superman. Now everyone turns on Lex. Like, oh, we never
Right.
liked the guy. Everyone agrees that guy
Right.
sucks. Yeah. This is the moment where I almost felt sorry for him, but for Lex,
Why?
but because
Why?
he just realized that consequences. We're back to consequences. What do you think about Hawk Girl just dropping the President
She's
Gurkos
not
to his
soups.
to his death?
She's not Superman. She's not that. And I think that's I think that's a way to differentiate Superman from other heroes,
Hmm.
right? He's not going to do that.
I do think it's interesting that we had this country Jaranpur, we have, especially this kid holds up a Superman sign, our
Flag, yeah,
flag. We believe in Superman, and then it's like Superman's not coming, kid. And it is these more morally gray characters like
right.
Hawkgirl and the Green Lantern who come to save the day there
At
because Superman's
Superman's
busy.
behest.
Yeah, well, he's
At
busy elsewhere.
Superman's behest.
That's
Because
true.
they didn't do so before,
Mm,
right? And so it's in watching Superman that they see like we could be doing more. We should be doing more, right?
mm-hmm,
And that's a threat to governing powers, but they're like taking the example
mm-hmm,
and saying we could help more people than we're actually helping.
mm-hmm.
Let's go do that.
Mm. Yeah. No, you're right. I think that it shows that they have a lot of respect for Superman,
Yeah,
and I think that's why I think that he's going to be the one to get them away from Maxwell Lord.
hopefully.
Yeah. How would you rank these three set pieces? That final battle in Jaranpur, the black hole starting to tear Metropolis apart, or Superman getting suffocated with the engineer's nanos and then doing the fall from space to knock her out.
The nanos.
That's your number one?
Nanos are my number one.
That was gnarly when he was pulling it out of the
Yeah.
throat.
Nanos were my number one. When Lex realizes what he's doing,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, he's the only one that's protected. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, yeah, like you said that all brawn and no brain,
Mm-hmm.
right? That was your gripe. Turns out, not so much, because he figured out a way on the fly, on the spot, to negate what you are doing.
Yeah.
And he didn't use his super strength to do it.
So that whole thing that Lex keeps bringing up about brains versus brawn,
Yes.
it makes me wonder. Of course, yeah. So we have Mr. Terrific, who's another Brainiac here, but what about the actual Brainiac?
I got Brainiac vibes from the engineer when she was in the Fortress of Solitude and she's locked into the computer and is floating above it.
Mm-hmm.
It gave me so much Brainiac vibes.
So I have to say this year, Harley Quinn, the animated series, the latest season of it, and season 2 of My Adventures with Superman both did Brainiac stories, but they were so wildly different from each other that it gave me a whole new interest in this character that I'm very
Okay.
curious what
Okay.
approach the DCU would
I
take.
haven't seen the Harley Quinn this season yet. I haven't watched it.
Okay. That was the more classic, like literally putting cities in jars
Okay.
situation.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, okay, so as far as ranking those 3 scenes, I think yeah, the nanites thing is also cool. I think that the, tearing Metropolis apart, that was a cool effect.
It was.
I wanna see what the fallout might be from that. But I guess I just really liked the dynamic between the Justice Gang, so I liked the whole,
The
like,
fight.
"Let's go save Jaranpur," and then at
Yeah.
the end, Metamorpho's invited to join, Hawkgirl invites
Yeah.
him, and and Guy Gardner's like, "No," until he's like, "Justice Gang, that's such a
What a
cool
cool
name." He's like,
name.
"Okay, you're in."
That
Oh,
was good. That was good stuff. That
I
was good
want to see
stuff.
more Justice Gang.
I will say that when Superman is talking to Lex in the control center and he's telling him what it means for him to be human, and Lex is all rage and ego, and it boils down to not wanting anything other than to, you know, to be more loved than Superman is. You
Right.
can see that there's no ulterior motive other than pure jealousy
Mhm.
on Lex's part for doing what he's doing. There's nothing altruistic about any of this.
But Superman would look for the best in him, so I will too.
No, um, he asked. He says, he's basically that's what he's doing.
Mhm.
He's trying to get Lex to see, like, we're not that different,
Mhm.
right? The things that bind us together are way more than the things that separate us.
Mhm.
Our shared humanity, right? These the fear, the wanting, the not being sure of oneself. These are things that bind us together. And Lex is having none of it.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I love when he, like pokes Soups and immediately Crypto goes in on him. Like, fuck you, what are you doing? Don't touch my Kryptonian. That's the moment I was like, oh yeah, now that's his Kryptonian. You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
went to protect them immediately.
Mhm.
Like, and threw Lex around. That was hilarious and both touching at the same time for me.
But that's also a thing about, like, just because Crypto's a naughty dog doesn't mean Crypto isn't a loyal dog.
Exactly. Exactly.
Um, yeah, so I mean, I so much promise for the future.
Yes.
There's some suggestion there's might be some sort of direct sequel in the works. Obviously, we have Supergirl coming in June. We talked about Peacemaker is gonna feature especially a lot of the smaller characters that were in this. Lanterns is going to feature the Lanterns, and rumored spinoffs with Mr. Terrific and Jimmy Olsen. Now, this was reported by the Wall Street Journal, so it doesn't mean that they have been ordered, but it means I
It could
believe
be.
that it's true that they are being talked about as possibilities.
I would love
So
both.
if these all come to fruition, what are you most excited for? Superman 2, Supergirl, Peacemaker, Lanterns, Mr. Terrific, or Jimmy Olsen? Which I guess would be like a Daily Planet thing.
Um, I would be most excited for Mr. Terrific, Supergirl, and Superman 2.
Mm-hmm.
Those would be
Okay.
my top three.
Um,
Those would be my top three.
I mean, yeah, Peacemaker season 2, they'd have to fuck that up real bad because I love Peacemaker season 1 so much.
Yeah.
Like that's yours to lose. Um, Obviously, I'm excited about Supergirl, but I'm actually more excited about Supergirl since I started reading this Woman of Tomorrow series
Right.
because
Okay. It's
it's
just damn
so
good. It's
yeah,
really good.
it's very intriguing, like what they're gonna
Yeah.
do with this, and seeing how they set it up in this movie with the cameo we got with hers is really interesting. Um, I mean, yeah, I'm all in on Mr. Terrific after this film, but like I keep saying with the Jimmy Olsen one, I think
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see the Daily Planet on a deeper level.
Right.
So I
Right.
guess all of them, and yeah, and Superman too, and show us more Krypton stories.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Although I am excited for the Lantern show. It's just
yeah.
that I've never been. I think I would have been more excited if it was a singular lantern
Oh,
than a buddy type
I'm more
of lantern
excited that
show.
it's multi
So
lanterns
yeah.
personally.
No, not that I don't want to see more than one lantern,
Hmm.
but I think I would have been more excited if it was just a story focused on a single lantern with other lanterns coming aboard at some point.
Okay, okay. I don't know. Yeah, for me, makes the because I think this is also, and I'm not saying that James Gunn is writing that like he wrote this, but what he does do well in general, which I'm sure he's overseeing, is how characters play off each other as a group. He
Yeah,
excels in
and
ensembles.
absolutely. And I think that's, for me, those cop buddy
Mm-hmm.
movies and series, you know, it's a high bar. It's Bad Boys, Miami Vice. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like those are my things. And I'm like,
All right.
if
Well,
you're
there's
gonna
the
do
bar.
if you're gonna do something, it has to be
Yeah.
Crockett and Tubbs. You know what I'm saying? Just like
Mm.
just yeah. So yeah,
All right.
we'll
We'll
see.
see. We'll see. First up is Peacemaker season 2, starting August 21st. It's going to be 8 episodes, and we're going to be covering them with Aaron from Radioactive Ramblings. So that's going to be fun.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this Peacemaker.
Yeah, I'm looking
I'm
forward to
looking
this
forward to
Peacemaker.
it. I'm looking
I'm
forward
really
to it.
looking forward to this Peacemaker. I'm saving room in my top 10 list for Peacemaker season 2.
Okay.
Um, but we're also getting more Marvel this summer. We're in 2 weeks. We're
2
getting
weeks.
Fantastic Four on July
Yeah.
25th. And then we're getting, right after Peacemaker starts, we're getting a single 4-episode drop on August 27th of Eyes of Wakanda,
Yeah.
animated series looking back through the history of Wakanda at different times. So
Next 6 weeks is a lot of good stuff coming.
super summer. Yeah, and also we just wrapped up Murderbot season 1, just finished.
I
Season
haven't
2 is
watched the
greenlit.
haven't seen the
You haven't
finale
seen the
yet.
finale?
Nope.
Oh, the
Haven't
finale's
listened
good.
to the pod and I haven't
Yeah.
watched it yet. So
No, yeah, don't listen to the pod till you see it. The
yeah.
finale's good. The finale
Yeah.
is like really, because I read the novella, and so I knew where the season needed to end. But they add some stuff in the finale that made, oh my gosh, it's like the tensest and most emotionally involving episode of the
Okay, say
season.
no more. Say no more.
I'm done.
That's it. All right.
All right, but everyone, if you haven't watched Murderbot, definitely,
Go
because
do it.
I'm talking about the Hope Punk Murderbot, very Hope Punk, very
Yeah.
Hope Punk.
Yeah.
Also, Foundation season 3 has
Haven't
just
watched
begun.
the first episode either.
All right, well,
Didn't listen to the pod with John and Marilyn yet.
yeah. So far, season's off to a good start. I've only seen the first episode. John and Marilyn, they're recording ahead, so I know John's very hyped on it after seeing, I think he's seen three episodes when I last heard. So
Okay.
And we've also got starting in August Alien Earth, which David's going to be spearheading. I think it's going to be weekly coverage of that with various
Oh,
guest
okay.
hosts. Yeah. So I think actually Luke and I will be joining the first
Awesome.
week. If you have thoughts about any of this stuff that we're talking about, please send them to lorehounds at thelorehounds.com, and we'll include feedback in future episodes. Also, check out the link tree in the show notes. There's a link to the Discord where there's a forum with spoiler chats per movie or show under franchises. We have an MCU franchise, we have a DCU franchise, and a bunch of other stuff. And on a Supercast and Patreon, you get all these episodes ad-free, but also bonus contents like extra content for certain shows like Andor and Wheel of Time and Rings of Power, and also extra episodes from Jean and I, like the Sony Spider Villainverse Power Ranking Funeral and the 28 Days / Weeks Later, and the extra like movie club. This month's 11sies is Val Kilmer Film Fest. And Jean, I know you're happy. Heat won the vote.
Yes. Yes.
I was rooting against Heat, but it
I know
won.
you were.
It won strongly.
Yes. Yes.
I was just rooting for like Willow or something, but
I know you were, but no, we're going to the straight fire heat. Let's go.
Oh man. So I've lined up the Heat 2 audiobook to try to listen to before we record. So. Do also check out the affiliates in the network. You'll find links to all of these podcasts also in the link tree in the show notes, and that's Nevermind the Music, where psychology meets music, Radioactive Ramblings. They've been doing Fallout lore. I know Fallout Season 2 is coming soon, also Ghibli stuff and other stuff. Invincible coverage. If you like this, you might recognize certain story overlaps with Invincible.
You'll see some things. Very different, though. Let's be clear. Yeah. Very different, but you'll see some things.
Yeah. And they also cover the boys, for that matter, too.
Yeah.
Rings and Rituals, where you can catch up on a much deeper dive into season 1 of Rings of Power. Properly Howard, they're in the middle of their bacon wrap season, where it's like a degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon situation. Yeah. We'll Shift Us. We just started our Dune book deep dive, and the Star Wars Canon Timeline podcast will resume soon with more High Republic content.
Awesome.
All right. You ready for some music?
Let's go.
From the Epic folder. Again, chosen blind. So let's see. It's Triumphant. Ooh. This is some superhero shit. Thank you to our superheroes, Discord server boosters, Aaron K, Tiller the Thriller, Dork of the Ninjas, Duve71, Athena Ajalea, Tina, Listu, Nancy M, Ghost of Perdition, and Radioactive Richard. Thank you to all of our listeners. Honestly, you make this possible to do, so please pass this podcast on to other Superman lovers or people who need to know more about Superman. Leave us a nice review. You can mention Superman wherever you're listening. Thank you especially to our subscribers, most of all our highest tier, the Lore Master, Samartian, Michael G, Michelle E, Brian P, SC, Peter OH, Adam S, Nancy M, Dube71, Brian 8063, Frederick H, Sarah L, Garrett C, Matthew M, Sarah M, Andrew B, Kwang Yu, Jedi Bob, Nathan T, Alex V, Sub-Zero, Aaron K, Deli V, Mothership 61, Gnarls, Kathy W, Lestu, Jeffrey B, Elysia U, Neil F, Ben B, Scott F, Stephen N, Julia F, Carly S, Ilmariel, /Tim, Paul K, Bobby C, and always last Adrian. Jean, take us out. What do you want to say?
Man, listen, Feige, you got to do something because James Gunn is coming at your head. And the one thing you can do right now is recast T'Challa. Damson Idris is the guy.
The Lorehounds podcast is produced and published by The Lorehounds. You can send questions and feedback and voicemails at thelorehounds.com/contact. Get early and ad-free access to all Lorehounds podcasts at patreon.com/thelorehounds. Any opinions stated are ours personally and do not reflect the opinion of or belong to any employers or other entities. Thanks for listening.